Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension, starring Dan and Bob Video Games.
Live?
Yes? KZ, excellent.
I love video games.
And Mr. Feel
Hakan's here.
here on GigaBoots.
That was not an epic crossfade that I was hoping for, but it will work well enough for the first Big Think Live of the year, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? We're here live on Twitch, and this is how it's just going to sound when it gets over to the podcast feed.
Welcome to the future.
Yeah, we're in the future now, baby. You know who's editing it? No one.
Yes.
We're pumping this shit into the water supply.
You get it unfiltered.
I will now death stream even harder.
Bob?
Yeah, what's up?
The medium.
No! Already?
Oh my god, I forgot. Oh no.
What a great what a great way to open Big Think Dimension 173.
Yes.
I didn't watch a second of your stream, so I'm ready.
How'd you guys like Nick J's? Was it fast?
It's so fast.
It's so fast.
It's so fast you check out through the plot and tells you to do some things. Hey guys, we're going to talk about the plot of the medium, content warning. A lot.
Yeah, don't think about any of it too hard.
It is a lot. I think I summarized it. Phil and I both did summary tweets at the end of the stream.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Seemed comical and evil, like in a way that no one truly described in
I
their
know.
usual summaries.
This is what happens when a real person plays the game instead of only gaming journalists.
Right, because they're like, oh man, what a high-end experience. I've been so immersed in the gameplay. And the story's about important stuff. And I'm like, the stories, you know what? I'm just going to read the tweet, and that's all I'm going to say about the plot. And from there, I'm going to talk about gameplay, okay? So once again, content warning.
Okay.
The Medium is a game that asks the player to understand that a child molester / rapist is that way because his stepfather abused him and his mom ratted out his Jewish girlfriend to the SS. To own his stepfather and your sister is too damaged by this, so she should die. Fuck that game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Perfect for Game Pass.
Previously, I had only heard about the ending. I was not prepared for them explaining the rapist.
Yeah, you don't need to dive into the mind of the rapist. You don't need to
There are
explain
many things you can explain. Not that one, please.
No!
Please.
No!
Please, not that.
No! I sat here and I'm like, this is going to be a very tasteless telling of this sort of topic, but I've seen this many times in Hollywood. I'm sure this will... No.
No.
No, not even close. We finished the game, and as everyone learns, that is the deal. People start saying, yeah, by the way, what is the name of the fucking horror franchise that took off in the 90s / aughts that was handy-cam footage? Blair Witch.
Blair Witch,
Their
okay.
Blair Witch game has the same message.
That's insane.
That's what people said. And I was like, one person said it in chat, and this is how this works. One person said it in chat, and I just chose to not believe them. I was like, I'm going to hope they're lying just to get a kick out of me. That is not true, though, because more and more people came in and said, no, really, that is the message of that game, too. Which fucking floored my ass. Let's talk about the gameplay, though, because I think the gameplay is also interesting. By the way, I figured I would get ahead of Podlords, and I started sharing the video with you two over on Discord. Because I got to do Podlord images.
Right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
The gameplay, as I thought, like, Bob.
Yeah.
I don't think I told, maybe I did tell you this yesterday. And I don't know how it worked for you.
Okay.
As the week went on, upon reflecting on the gameplay that is the medium, I became more and more convinced I was making up something that was supposed to be parody of a bad game.
Uh-oh.
Because its gameplay is literally, this is what a phone game should be for a lot of this.
Yes,
This
absolutely.
What I'm about to describe is countless moments in this game, okay? You enter a room. The room has many objects. You must look at all of the objects so that way they unlock the progression object, which you can now see, but should have been visible the whole time.
Yes.
You must read the notes. You must look at all of the things. That is the only way you can do it.
I was really stunned at how shitty looking and like how slow the game was. I was like, what? You didn't make anything.
You do get a run button. You can't use it all the time, though. They randomly will turn it off.
Yeah. Yeah, I would even say most of the time they just don't let you run it. It's horrible feeling that to just be robbed of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I was exaggerating, but most of the puzzles in the game are literally just look at everything. Oh, hey, there's a thing on the floor now. Pick it up and open the door.
That's all it is.
There's a huge progression element that was figure out how to unlock this door. And Spaceman Spiff's in chat losing his mind going, it's a glass door!
Do you have a brick?
I really didn't expect the medium to just be transparently worse in every way than fucking Silent Hill Downpour and Homecoming.
That is impressive.
Like both of them.
I mean, it has to do a lot to convince everyone who likes even the bad Silent Hills to be like, oh no.
There's like, you have nothing.
The hell no heard around the world.
Also, it's gross.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet a lot of people didn't know this. There's basically no action to this game. There's not even that much horror.
No.
The most you get is sometimes you have to run from a monster, and other times you have to do sneaking segments that are terrible and feel straight ass 7th gen.
Yeah. It literally, specifically, it was the Lords of Shadow 2 sneaking rat mission. Like that's those stealth moments for most of the game.
Yeah.
That really is how I kept, like, what I kept thinking about watching, where it's like, this is like a shitty forced stealth segment, but it's the whole game.
Right. There's not like, oh, but that's the side content. It's like, no, that's the content. There's no just walking around and touching things is not enough gameplay to be considering that the gameplay.
So it's really weird because Hellblade, you know, it has some of the things that I think make critics' brains go, ooh,
yeah,
this is important and cool. And this has all of those same things, but even less gameplay like gameplay. Way less money.
A lot of reviewers don't like gameplay because it's something they have to think about instead of just looking at everything and then they can progress.
Right. Which luckily that's what this game is. You look at everything and then you can progress.
How on earth, unless they just announce, assuming that they actually are making Silent Hill 2 and there isn't some weird miscommunication and it's something else.
Mm-hmm.
Are they just going to be like, we didn't do any of the combat because we know journalists will clap when you say you took combat out of something?
Yeah,
fans won't, of course. Fans will raise hell because that kind of invalidates the point of Pyramid Head. But
yeah.
Yep.
Are they just going to go, no, we didn't even try? Or are they going to be like, we did try and you're going to regret that we tried?
Yeah, I have to imagine that they do something that ends up worse than any PS1 survival horror game.
The creative director on this just goes full AVGN and he's like, you want gameplay, huh? And then he opens the case for the game and shits in it. It's at this point I have to read my note that I left in the Big Think Dimension channel. In the last week and a half I have watched, and this is not an exaggeration, I had to look it up, 113 episodes of the AVGN.
Congratulations.
Holy shit.
That is what you do while you clean a house and move everything out of it.
Yeah.
I confirmed something I suspected the whole time.
Yeah.
Sonic 06 Part 1 is his worst episode.
Yeah, I
checks
don't even
out.
remember. I don't even remember watch. I even remember tapping out when it was new. I was like, no, I'm sorry.
I had, like, back when it first came out, I had a dedication to know how it went. So I watched the end and I was like, yeah, that was genuinely bad content made even worse by the Full Sail sponsorship.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't know, that's a for-profit game development college. It's
in Florida.
It's in Florida. We've been there.
Yeah, we visited it.
I've known plenty of people who graduated. Guess what their degrees are worth? Nothing I've said is libel yet. Or slander. Full Sail, more like full of shit. I'm stealing jokes from chat. It's okay. They're on screen.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. Credit.
Mm-hmm. You got exposure. Anyways, yeah, the medium was truly repugnant. So we finished the stream. People ask, "Can you destroy the disc?" And I'm like, "The disc was $35. It was too much. I need to like sell this thing so that way I can feel like I didn't get screwed." And then someone threw $35 at me, so I'm like, "Okay, we'll snap it." It wouldn't snap.
Yeah, you fully bent it over.
I folded it in half and it just would not crack. It would not do anything. So then we had to get shears and cut through it. And that's how you got that nice tweet image of the disc in two pieces. Terrible game. Absolutely horrible. It's not often that we play through something on stream and I'm like, wow, this might legitimately be the worst game we've ever beaten, because we've beaten hundreds of games.
I know, right? Like,
Yeah,
as far as
I'm
repugnant goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably.
But even on the gameplay level, what have you guys played that was just more dead air for that long?
Gameplay wise, not a whole lot. It's like even Lords of Shadow had non-rat stealth.
Right.
Lords of Shadow 2.
And at least Lords of Shadow 2 had a really stupid story that could offer anything.
Right.
It's like Hellblade, because that's not great combat and perspective puzzles.
Yeah, Hellblade and Conquer. Conquer is rough in a lot of ways. Those are the only things that can kind of compete, but yeah, the medium's probably worse.
It was really weird in that second to last level in Conquer when they tried to explore and explain off somebody being a sex pest.
Yeah, at least they didn't do that.
Yeah,
Jesus.
at least they didn't try anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the worst they did is just make you upset over your Mario 64 sensibilities in every turn, whether it was the camera or spinning that dude.
I mean, every moment's something shitting and exploding and
Yeah. It's just that gross out humor that just isn't funny at all.
Yeah, just piss on that rock.
The weird thing is, like, I like some of Beavis and Butthead. I like a lot of things that do that humor and other elements. I just maybe it's just the cross section of British people and that type of I don't know. Or specifically that one guy that they went, yeah, you can just make a game, guy. I already forgot his name. Was it Chris or something? The guy heading Conquer?
Chris Seaver?
Yes.
Okay, I was like, I remember the last thing being really strange. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe it's that cross section that does it for me. But yeah, no, the medium was terrible. We didn't do Pokemon Days because it was so busy, like, debriding the house and moving things out of it. You know, when you have a studio and
a home.
Yeah, and a home. It's a lot of things to move out. But that's done. And sometime in the next week, the car is supposed to arrive at the lot. I pre-ordered a car. I guess I haven't talked about that on Big Think. I pre-ordered a car.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to go to GameStop. Put your thousands of dollars down. They hold it for 48 hours.
It was. He's not kidding.
It's a lot like GameStop.
It was $500. They only hold it for 2 days. That's what the car market's at right now. That's the insane situation we ended up with. People keep asking if I got a drone or something else as a pre-order bonus because it is just straight up. I pre-ordered the special edition of a Call of Duty game for $500, dear.
Yes.
Can I at least get a thing? And they're like, no, you can get a car at all. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, the car problem being solved will be really great.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone who donated and supported that goal. That does, of course, mean the dual the double death stream theme month
Yes.
has been activated, and the polling will begin on that soon. The two sides, hero ? And dark ? Or as Bob would put it, ambiguous,
Agnostic,
and
evil.
Oh, you know what? That's good.
It's really good. We're hoping to get some stuff made for that soon, so that way people know what's at stake with these polls. You know, you get your icons on the left, because the good side month is something like, you know, Sonic month, Zelda, etc.
Armored Core.
Evil side month is stuff like, what was it, 7th gen shooters that people swear are good, and a list of other theme months that are nightmares.
Yeah, there's a lot of 7th gen in that evil side. So if that's what you want to see,
yeah. So imagine the Sonic Adventure 2 style. The left side has gaming icons, and the right side has Hayes Pissman.
I was about to say.
It's terrible.
Hayes Pissman and Colonel Raddick.
yes, the iconic Colonel Raddick.
Yes, so you know that's the split basically, and we'll get stuff up for that soon. Aside from that, I didn't really have time to play games in the last week. You know, I was busting ass on that house.
Yeah, no. I saw what was happening there. I came in for some of it, but not near all of it.
Yeah, luckily you didn't come in for content warning. Spiders.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jesus.
Fun fact, no one in that house used the backyard. So when we were done with the house, I found out the back porch, the stairs down, were literally conquered by some badass looking spiders. And since that place was next to a forest, it's like they're just going to keep invading. So I'm just going to spray them from the door. And then a few days from now, I'll take a curtain rod and hit them with it and fuck up the webs. Because I just needed to look good enough for the landlords.
Right.
And just to be clear, landlords, way lower tier of human than a pod lord. Just to be clear.
Oh, yeah, not even comparable.
Yeah, you're using human in quotes here, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Just needed to look good enough for them to potentially, maybe, give even $1 back for the security deposit that they themselves said, we don't like spending that on cleaning the house. I'm like, okay. So yeah, that's basically all I did. That and watch Hokkaido for content because they won the poll.
Yes.
That's basically all I've done. Oh, and watch 113 episodes of The Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah, culture.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. It is actually really fun to see when COVID hits and his production changes entirely, but it's still not as bad as the 06 video.
Yeah, he starts to look like Jerky.
Yeah, because at some point, I assume someone else starts handling the color correction and other things, and yeah, he just starts like looking brown orange, like a 7th gen game that's been deep fried.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. It's rough,
but at least those episodes are fine compared to the Sonic 06 video. So out of 113 episodes that I watched, the Sonic 06 one literally the worst. The best was probably The Immortal, which I had not seen before this. Out of 113 episodes, I had only not seen 2 or 3.
That checks out. You're pretty up to date with him.
Yes. The Immortal one's really good because imagine this description's going to sound insane, and I need you to understand what I'm saying is a lot closer to what you imagine that you would think, right? Because I'm going to say some words, it'll create an imagination in your head, and you would go, that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that for a review?
Okay.
The Immortal review is a continuous long take, the entire thing, with escape room style dungeon rooms, and him projecting the gameplay onto walls on occasion, and him having cosplay goblins attack him on occasion, and all of these really cool things all in one long take.
That's impressive.
Yeah, no, that was actually a really impressive episode. I was like, this is cool as hell.
Yeah, no, it's great when how James Rolfe is actually someone who likes movies a lot.
A ton.
So a lot of that sort of stuff comes in of like, oh, he just had a filming thing he wanted to try out.
Right. And that's always really cool to see. Like people who not only love games, but also love that.
I'm trying to remember. The worst episode of AVGN I can think of is that one that's it's the one where he goes to Vegas.
The Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas parody.
Las Vegas parody, because it just is so I'm going to do every scene from that movie. It is bad.
Well, Bob, if you watched the movie, you would have clapped.
I did watch the movie.
Well, Bob, I didn't watch the movie, and I also didn't clap.
Oh, damn. What are we going to do?
There are some okay bits in that episode.
Yeah.
It's better than the Sonic 06.
Okay, that's all you should know. It's been so long since you've seen Sonic 06.
Just to be clear, Sonic 06 Part 1. Part 2, actually, because he comes back later and he's like, yeah, I barely played that game. That one's actually all right. That episode's all right. The one good Vegas bit, though.
Yeah.
The one good Vegas bit is when he's doing this rambling description of how now that he's in Vegas, he's getting extremely immersed in the idea of like these poker games, these Vegas games, and all these things as he's playing them like on a portable and stuff. He's like, I really feel like what it means to be in Caesar's Palace. And the guy right next to him goes, you can just go inside. They're literally standing in front of it. And he looks back and he's like, oh, right. That bit is good. And now that I've spoiled it for you, audience, there's nothing for you in that video. But
you always do a service here.
He enjoyed it. And that I always appreciate a creator who finds a way to enjoy what they do.
Right.
And don't do everything as an obligation, you know? Because you see those types. They get miserable and bitter and they hate their audience and then they hate everything. It's that happens with too many people. But yeah, Bob, did you play anything?
I actually did have time to play some stuff.
You played some stuff?
I played some stuff.
Bob, I'm looking.
Ooh.
You seem to be implying there is a list of things you've played on your list, but on your iPad. But all I'm seeing is a sexy Asian lady.
Hey, you put
wait.
that one there.
That context for this joke is outside of this recording now.
Yes.
There's somebody who tweets "Wake up, gamers" a lot. I was trying to find my own tweet. I found hers. So, Bob, what did you wake up and game?
I finished playing Samurai Jack.
Okay.
Which is
nice.
Samurai Jack Battles Through Time. I beat it. I didn't just give up or anything. That game is pretty solid. Always true. All the levels are like 30 minutes long. It feels like each one's complete. Even some of them have better ideas than I see in like bigger budget action games. Like, oh man, this is you put a physics puzzle in here. I didn't think that you could get a physics puzzle working for this one thing you wanted to do, but you did.
Good on you.
Right? Also, I found this is just made on Unreal 4, so I guess this will... Hopefully, that means they can just transfer their work from this to other stuff pretty easily.
Yeah, you would hope. Because what game are they doing?
They're doing Valkyrie Elysium, and they're also doing Wanted Dead.
Yeah,
which I'm hyped for Wanted Dead a decent bit, and they're going to show that next week at the IGN Expo. They just announced, so I was super hyped to see that.
Oh, nice.
One good thing as the IGN Expo, at least. But you get to you really see how they cut budget here, but still make a fun game. Like they have a fairly limited move set and amount of moves you can do, but they reuse those animations and other moves. So at one point you unlock a stinger type move for Jack, where he like at the end of a combo does a stab through guys. Eventually you get a version of that where you jump in air and he can do it in air, and it's like their version of the flying swallows from Ninja Gaiden. It's like the same animation but used a completely different kind of attack.
Okay.
This may have spoiled the end of Samurai Jack the cartoon for me, though.
Literally the one thing you didn't want.
Scared about.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm still excited to watch it again, or like go and watch that final season eventually, rather. And it does have all the original voice cast except for Mako. That guy died, unfortunately.
He passed away, yeah.
The last season also didn't, of course, have him.
Right, because it was back.
Like does okay enough.
Yeah, it's close enough. Like it's you can tell that he's trying to hit it.
Yeah. Like apparently he worked with Mako on some stuff like beforehand, so he was like the guy they go to for him.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, this characters I still don't go to 3D at all. Like they have these these women that are like possessed by Aku. They just don't look right in 3D, period. They just look strange.
Yeah, that's the most 2D ass character they have.
I think I know what you're talking about.
It's that thing where Jack's head is like a cylinder.
Oh, that's
because you're really not meant to see
yeah,
it at all.
That hurts. Luckily, like eventually he switches to a different character model where it's him in like ancient armor and has a big beard, and the beard hides his head shape really well. I'm like, okay, this kind of works. Yeah, that's I definitely recommend it. I think it's still on that sale. You can get it for $18. This game's definitely worth $18. If you like Samurai Jack at all, I think you'll probably like this.
Okay.
Other stuff I played, Pocky and Rocky Reshined was supposed to come out this week, guys. They told me it would months ago.
They promised you.
They had the date on every website to pre-order.
I don't like this opening.
The date hits. It's delayed to the end of June.
Come on! The end of June?
Yeah, the end of June. Like the same week as like 3 other big games.
Oops, we accidentally were a month late.
For a game that's already translated.
Yes.
So I went to the Hong Kong store and I just bought it there.
Okay, cool.
The translation is a little rough. I assume this is what they're going to go with, but it does feel like machine translated at times.
Mm-hmm.
It's neat. The art's amazing. Like, absolutely great. They need more buttons because they added features to this game.
Okay.
Where you have the normal moves where you can reflect with the B button, just swing the stick, which is X button on PlayStation, and square button shoots, and it's like a flying shooter sort of thing, top down.
Yeah.
And they added it to that. So now you have a charge up your deflector, which is fine. It takes a little longer to charge up than I would like, and it puts up this ring around you that deflects stuff. And then the other one, which I don't like, is you have another move for rapid tapping on your attack button. And that's different per character. So, like Pocky, she shows out a mirror, and then you shoot the mirror, and the shots go out and auto home to enemies near it. And it's like, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But getting it to activate on a rapid tap is awful. And you know me.
Yeah. Bob's basically Master Takahashi over here.
I rapid tap very well.
Uh-huh.
Yes, like absurdly.
I can't get it to activate when I want to activate.
You're too good. You need to slow down. 21 times a second or whatever is too fast.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the problem. But I feel like we are on a DualShock, or at least on a Pro controller for this Nintendo Switch.
Bob,
you have plenty of buttons.
Are you telling me that they should be able to figure out between the 10 buttons, 4 shoulder, 4 face, and 2 sticks, they should be able to figure out a way to let you do a thing with the bespoke button?
Yes. Yeah. It's not good as far as that goes. Also, the game feels like a little laggy. I know it's built on Unity, so I'm wondering if that has something to do with their implementation of it.
Yeah.
I'd love to see
some input lag numbers.
Yeah, some input lag numbers.
If only someone could do that. I found out the people who kept roasting Sony and Epic, asking them to fix the Unreal Engine 4 PS5 problem.
Yeah,
with the latency, they follow us on Twitter.
Oh, that's cool.
They're probably staggeringly disappointed that we have not done a button to pixel in over a year.
But art's still amazing. It's like a brand new story to see these characters do.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very exciting. Very excited to go through it. I went through the first 5 stages or so. The game's actually willing to be hard, which is good.
Yeah, that's cool.
Have to redo several levels. Same thing with that Samurai Jack game. I got stuck on various bosses. It took me a decent number of tries. And there were harder difficulties.
Oh.
And they had a mission mode style thing where it's like, okay, fight these waves of enemies with this select weapon and stuff like that. And I'm like, thank you. This feels like a complete action game. And the only other thing I played was yesterday, guys. I don't know if you missed it. Diablo Immortal released.
Yes, I am aware.
Okay, now Dan has to live up to the meme.
Okay.
It won't work on MacBook. Every fucking time I'm like, the MacBook will just run this better than a phone would. It's also coming to PC.
It actually hit PC as well. I did not get to play that version yet. I got it downloaded. I'll try that before next week.
If it's coming to PC, why won't you let me run it on my PC?
I don't know.
Because for people who don't know, MacBooks can play iOS apps, but people constantly flag them as no, do not let them.
Right?
Why would you do that?
Because you're insane and I hate you.
Get them all.
Fucking thank you, Fantasian, for at least letting me play you on a fucking MacBook. Jesus.
I played it on my iPad, which is the nice iPad. It's the newest Pro.
I'm getting roasted by people. Don't you have a phone, Dan? And it's like, Bob's not even playing it on his fucking phone. Does it work with a controller?
I don't know. I didn't try. I was like, I'm going to get the pure experience, what they want.
And then he used an iPad.
Yes.
Bob's like,
Hell
the
yeah,
pure
let's
experience.
go.
Here we go.
It starts at 30 frames per second for some reason. It has that lock, but you can turn that off, turn it up to 60. I was like, thank God. This is kind of awful looking at 30.
The reason they want to do that is so you don't burn through your battery.
Yeah, I know.
'Cause if you're playing it on your phone.
Right.
It's actually worth noting Genshin Impact is one of the most important benchmark apps for phones.
Oh, yeah?
For people who don't know, that is the best way to test battery life on a phone right now.
That's hilarious.
That's one of the best ways
That
to
makes
test it.
sense.
Yeah, because you can uncap that frame rate and it could just...
Oh, so it can go up to like 120, can't it?
It can, I think, yeah, but I'm not positive on that.
Slurp.
Yeah, just fucking, you just hear crunching sounds as it eats your battery.
Yeah, it's just getting all your battery juice.
So you tried it on an iPad.
Yes.
You didn't use a controller.
No.
Is that a nightmare?
Not really.
What?
Strangely. Because it just uses a virtual joystick on the left side, and then you have your main attack button, and then your 4 special moves around that. It seemed okay. It's set between 2 and 3, so you actually have Deckard Cain there.
So it has one foot in the grave. It's halfway in. That's cool that Deckard Cain would be in Diablo, Bob. That makes me, as a fan of Diablo, pretty happy.
Yeah, it's like, man, why'd you do that with 3? What? Diablo 3 already felt so dumbed down that this doesn't feel that much different to me, but maybe I'm broken.
Hi, we're here to talk about Diablo Immortal, and we're here to upset everyone.
I know, right?
Except for people who like Diablo 2 exclusively.
I feel like that's kind of a lot of people.
I would like to feel that way, but I constantly am surrounded by very few people who don't like...
Oh yeah, I've met so many people like 3 is amazing. I just play it. That's all I play.
I mean, there are so many people who are just like, all I do is play Diablo 3. My manager who, at the liquor store, who was, by his own admission, an alcoholic.
Yes.
All he did was drink alcohol and play Diablo 3 seasons. So I think that well encapsulates that whole market segment of people who play thousands of hours of Diablo 3.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the gear is obviously simplified a little bit because it seems like so far, all the equipment I've got only had like one stat, and each equipment has a score attached to it. Kind of like a Destiny style thing of like, this is your light rank, I guess.
I think that's how the competitive Diablo 3 goes too, once you get up to the seasons. And
probably, but it's so weird to see that it's right off the bat.
Right. Does anyone call you Guardian?
No. Deckard only says Herodric once as far as I've played. I have no idea what's going on. I assume he's going to get those numbers up. He has to, right?
Yeah. You'd better end Act 1 and begin Act 2, and Act 2's titled Herodric. And that's all he says for that whole cutscene.
Zool also returns. That's the Necromancer from 2. So you're playable Necromancer.
Now, that's the guy from Ghostbusters. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know, right?
Is there Bale?
No, because
Okay.
I mean, Bale's dead. This is right after that. This is 5 years after that, I guess.
Okay.
The World Stone is destroyed.
Yeah.
But
that
now
matches up.
you're looking for pieces of the World Stone. Like people are finding those.
Diablo 2, for anyone who doesn't know, or Diablo as a franchise, is a story of gathering a stone and smashing it, and gathering things into the stone and then smashing it, and then finding those pieces of that stone and then smashing them.
Yes.
The funniest part is that, if I remember correctly, all of this starts with an ending that was done by people who didn't even make Diablo 1 because they outsourced the cutscenes.
What?
So this whole trope, this whole thing is literally caused by some studio making a CG cutscene going, we just thought it'd be fucking cool. He sticks the jewel in his chest and he's fucking Satan.
Wow. Yeah. I chose the monk, but there are several other classes. You got wizard, you got barbarian, demon hunter, and paladin. Vanguards, what they call it. They don't want to call him paladin. I don't know why. But yeah, I tried the monk. They actually gave him tonfa weapons, so now he punches with the weapon you equip. And unlike Diablo 3, where you give him a sword and then he puts it away and punches and he's still affected by those stats, which always drove me crazy.
Yeah, that drove Bob insane. They couldn't give him specific, like, you need gloves to punch.
No.
You would be like, hold this axe, now punch them with your hand.
It was so dumb.
Yeah, let's not talk about Diablo 3, not for the sake of upsetting people, but upsetting me.
And they also have man. Yeah.
If you're watching the video, you get Bob shaking his fist. I don't know. What do they have?
The skills work a lot like 3, where you don't get to assign points. They unlock as you level up. You unlock higher ranks of them automatically to level up. So it's like, yeah, that sure is your compromise. I hope that whenever Diablo 4 comes out, you come up with something better.
Whenever. Bob, the optimist.
I know, right?
Yeah, whenever. I'm looking forward to your next quarterly Diablo update.
Yeah, Diablo 4. That shit's happening. It's not in the next 2 years even.
No.
It's dire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fixer-upper they're working on.
I'm fucking on Twitter, right? I'm over on Twitter. And I fucking see Pat saying, I guess I should be glad that Blizzard keeps giving us news. And I'm like, good, yeah, you're in the same emotional state as us, but at the same time, I would prefer they fucking don't.
Right?
Part of me laughs, but also part of me hates it.
So here's what I want out of Blizzard. News story 1. We fired 70% of people at that company.
Mm-hmm.
Then nothing for 4 years. and then they show me a trailer that looks markedly different and improved from all their output ever.
Yeah, that'd be ideal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now keep in mind, we're gonna have to be excited about Activision in the next even couple weeks here because of Call of Duty.
I mean, they're gonna show Call of Duty off next week apparently on June 8th.
Call of Duty.
Which if
June 8th, isn't that?
That's the day. That's the day before. Jeff Keighley's event. So I think Jeff Keighley didn't even let him in.
Sony's like, we're going to need you to start a week early. And Activision's like, we're going to need you to show up for our slumber party.
Okay. We're going to set up a small tent outside your building.
One last thing on Diablo Immortal. There are just pre-created stages. Like everything seems pre-created.
For anyone who's not familiar with Diablo, it's a procedurally generated game.
This seems to be for the sake of having other people wandering around that you're not even interacting with. I don't know why they're there. I guess you could form a party with them, maybe. But they wanted that.
Okay.
And it also just has a quest line that takes you from one place to the next to follow the story. And I'm like, this is very weird.
Like you know, in Dead Space when you do the thing and the arrow goes down the hole.
Yeah, but it's just always an arrow going on the ground, which you can turn off. But I don't know if there's anything else to explore. Anytime I tried to explore off the boundaries, it was like, hey, download this pack to actually go in that dungeon. Because it's not, this game is gigantic and it has like 30 different download sections you have to download.
What is this, PlayStation Home?
I know, right?
I'm trying to remember the last time I played a video game and I'm like, I'm just going to walk through this door and they're like, no, you aren't. Download.
It's not the exact same thing. It's reminding me on the Wii U when they're like, get the Xenoblade Chronicles X data packs a month before the game's out. There's multiple of them.
What? A month before it's out?
They're like, this game's big and it's going to be hard.
Jesus.
God. I'm so glad Nintendo has upgraded their online capabilities to 2011 standards.
Right?
It's still not ideal, but it could be more.
Yeah, now I don't need to sit on the store, look at it, download it. I can put my system in spam mode. It can download.
Yeah, yeah, and that's helpful. Two things real quick. You were done with Diablo Immortal, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Two things real quick. One, Digital Foundry got a recent podcast. Everyone on it laughed and agreed on the same point I think I made on Big Think like months ago.
Yeah.
PlayStation Home is so much better than anything metaverse related that has been shown to date.
Yeah, of course.
And everyone on Digital Foundry like cracked up so hard over that. It's like, yeah, no, it's not even close.
No, because that was already like what that seems to be what their dream of what metaverse is going to be.
They're like, someday we'll be able to make a thing from 2009. It's like, it's been 13 years, man. I think you could do it if you had a clue.
No, that's absolutely not.
No.
It's going to be even funnier because like you see Sony lead in weird ways. Like you see Sony, they did streaming at the beginning of like the PS4.
Yes.
And then they did home back in the PS3. And they're doing VR and no one else in the market is really doing VR. I mean, you could say that Labo has a VR thing, but it's not even remotely the same thing. The Nintendo Labo VR.
Yeah.
And then Xbox is will they, won't they, until they just never talk about it ever again, which is where we're at currently. Do you think they wrap back around on home, though? Do you think they go, we'll beat these guys to making the metaverse?
No, I think they accurately realize that it's fucking stupid.
I think that if the metaverse somehow takes off, they bring it back.
Okay. You think that this will be the one time where they did a thing, right?
Yes.
And then they wrap back around to doing that thing again?
Right.
I mean, to some extent, that's how the streaming stuff seems.
Mhm.
Like they've been doing it the whole time and nobody gives a shit. Because in reality, no real human gives a shit about streaming games. They don't exist. You can't prove it. Unless they're an executive, in which case they care immensely.
Yeah, the weird thing is like the way theirs works is you already own the box can do the game.
Right.
So it's even more insane. Like the thought of, oh, here's your stupid little hub to stream a game. I get it.
Oh, yeah, no, I get that too. I think it's very, we brought this up on Big Think Dimension last week. And by last week, I mean for you people 3 days ago, but for us last week, where the stick makes sense for streaming. You need to do a stick if you're doing streaming. If you're doing streaming, but you're not doing the stick, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Second point before we move on. I'm drinking this Purple Thunder Mountain Dew in a bottle. If you guys recall, I tried the fountain on the prior weeks and I was a big fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it in a bottle.
It's too condensed.
It is too fucking sweet.
It is very sweet.
It's like chug this maple syrup. I wonder why it's so sweet. It just has 146% of my daily intake for included added sugars.
Now I just wish that they did a maple syrup soda. That'd be really
Someone
good.
does that.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah, someone does. I wish there was a Mountain Dew that was maple syrup. That would be fucking wicked.
Yeah, I the only one I've tried is that root beer maple syrup, which is bad because it didn't taste like maple syrup at all. It's like you failed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that wasn't great. But yeah, that's it. KZ, did you play any game? You play video game?
Yeah, I play video game.
You play video game?
Yeah. I did yesterday, or in the last episode of Big Thing Dimension. People already quoted me on it, where I said I hoped I had a wonderful time playing through the 3 Crash Bandicoot games on their remaster. I think I was about midway through Crash 2 where I went, I think I fucking hate these games. Yeah, they changed things in the remaster, has been well documented, to make Crash Bandicoot's hitbox from a cube to a pill. So he just naturally slides off shit. And you'll get hit by things and just kind of get confused as to what happened. That is the that's the entire game. The enemies will at times be like, figure out how you're supposed to hit me. Sometimes it won't make sense. Sometimes you have to jump. Just die once and understand.
Mm-hmm.
I went through the first one. It was at the start I'm like, okay, it's whatever, and it's like, oh, the bridge, it's really hard. Some of these jumps a little ridiculous. Overall, just wasn't really enjoying my time. But everyone's like, don't worry, you'll get to 2 and you'll love it. And I think I hated 2 more.
That makes sense.
Where it was just the exact same game, but now they added a slide.
Yeah.
And,
I remember 2 being a little harder when we played the first level.
Yeah.
And you use the slide jump.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then they give you a bunch of gimmick levels that I just hated, where it's like, and now these bees are going to chase you that are naturally faster than you. And sometimes the bigger clumps you can't even deal with. I just kind of kept going level after level going, I really, really hate this. And then we played Crash 3 and I went, oh, this is great. This is like actually really wonderful because it toned back the aggressiveness. I feel like you got lives more easily. Checkpoints were placed better. The environments and visuals looked a lot better. And every time you beat a boss, you got a new power-up, which I thought was good at like expanding Crash's kit over the course of the game.
Yeah, you hit that point where you get the super spin, and that's incredible. You get running shoes, and that's great. Crash 3 is my favorite Crash. I've never beaten 2, but I have beaten 1 and 3. Crash 1 is a game that made perfect sense in 1996 when it came out.
Yes.
And ever since then, I've been increasingly having this moment of, you didn't age that great, man.
Like every big hard moment in Crash 1 and 2 is our camera's bad. we're gonna make you do a 3D platforming thing, but we're gonna tilt the perspective so you don't really know what direction you're going.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just like, I would do a jump and I'm like, I don't know what you want from me. And then I hit like what the stream told me ahead of time was the notoriously bad ice level. And boy, our Crash level's too long for this shit. If they cut the life system, I would think more highly of these games, but it just made it way, way more cruel.
When you fully die in Crash 2, because once again, I never beat Crash 2. I think I beat one floor of that game. What happens when you run out of lives? Like, do you lose?
You just have to do the level again.
Okay, you just start at the beginning of the level?
Yeah. You just do the level
they
over.
Reset you to like 3 and put you at the very start of the level.
They're just long enough that I'm like, I really don't want to do any of this again. And thankfully, someone pointed out to me there's a level where they use the beehives, where there's one specific one where if you spin toward it as the bees come out and you kill all of them, the game will give you an extra life, and it's like bugs, so you can just get infinite lives that way. So toward the end, we start getting a stack of like 20, because Crash also runs under the rule of you've died enough, so we're just going to give you a mask.
But you get,
got,
and this was in the remaster. This glitch.
Yes.
Well, it has to be faithful, Dan.
I don't know that it was in the original.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not sure. It was just something they told me, and that we used it, and it was incredibly helpful, because I'll find myself even in Crash 3 going, oh, this boss has a really cool idea. Crash is designed that if you get hit once, it's over, and that kind of like takes a lot of my enthusiasm for engaging with bosses out, when it's just wait for 45 seconds, then you can hit, and then kind of just loops 3 times, but you can just die.
Yeah, see, that's the weird thing. That's why when playing Crash 1 way back when it came out, that first boss where it's the dude with the stick who spins was actually, to me, more frustrating than Ripperoo jumping around. Because the Ripperoo jumping thing at least visually translates and communicates what the dynamic is. Fat man in the middle of a room who spins with the stick does not communicate when he's hittable.
Yes, or how I'm supposed to approach killing him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff like that. The final boss of Crash 1, Cortex, confused the shit out of me, because one, it kind of reminded me of like Donkey Kong Country 2-esque. You're just dodging a bunch of projectiles over and over again to get that one vulnerable spot.
Yeah.
But the last hit, he just gives you a slow shot to just hit back at him. And it was so anticlimactic, I got angry. Where I'm like, this middle part is so hard. It's like they couldn't think of another pattern to make, so they're like, okay, you can just do it. We're going to get on the floor.
I feel like that happened with K. Rool in one of the SNES Donkey Kong countries, now that I'm thinking about it, though. Isn't there one where the last hit is laughably easy to do?
I'm trying to think.
I feel like that happened.
I feel like they were still applying pressure, like at the end, because DKC2, it's scary because he's like teleporting in as invisible, trying to suck you in.
Oh, he's cracked out in DKC2.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like one where it was like that, but that just confused me. Crash 2 is worse.
Okay.
In Crash 2, there's 2 endings you can get. One, if you get like if you 100% the game, no fucking chance in hell. Yeah. And then there's the normal one where you get in a jetpack that they introduced in the last world that controls so badly, where you're like shooting forward and like controlling the up and down with like the triggers and stuff. And they're like, okay, chase Cortex in a space map. I killed him in 25 seconds because he is so slow. You can just shoot right up to him, spin, and then he runs away, and you have to do it 2 more times. It was insane.
That's kind of crazy.
I hope to beat Crash 2 someday.
Yeah.
I do still expect it to be kind of, because like it's hard to be like Crash 1's like terrible. Like for when it came out, it was actually pretty good for what it was. Crash 2, I don't know. I didn't even like it that much playing it back in the day because it was like, what did they change? Well, they added the slide and now there are ice levels, and I'm like, I don't really.
Yeah, that
3's great.
Hitting Crash 3 immediately, because I just immediately went into it after 2. And I'm like, you can immediately tell how better every aspect of this game is. Like, even the ones where you're riding an animal and you're running across, like, this China level. And I'm like, this is much more well telegraphed. There's significantly less bad 3D angles. It's trying to actually be more of a true 3D platformer in that style. And it just really made it so that when I died, I went, this makes sense, instead of, I hate you. The entire, except for those motorcycle levels, I think those kind of suck. Yeah, I felt like those were a little on the hard side, to the point where during the death stream, someone suggested it, and I brought in my striker Carl through remote play lag to do it, and he somehow did the last one on his first try.
Is Carl a big fan of Crash 3?
Right, I was like, that seems most likely.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I feel like I might be able to do that, but I don't know, because I am a big fan of Crash 3. That's my favorite.
Yeah, a lot of that's largely memorization too. So it's
right,
just
it literally is a trial and error thing, kind of like some of the SNES Donkey Kong Countries. I mean, they based a lot of what they did in Crash 1 and 2 at least on that sort of game.
Yeah, I was definitely feeling that. Just I mean, you're going across an island that eventually transitions to a factory,
right?
And then you go up a castle at the end, and then you go up an airship at the end.
Yeah, it's pretty blatant.
I've never heard of a game like this before.
It's really nailing those iconic beats. They should have had a Ghost World and a amusement park.
Well, if cowards out there didn't cut the anime intro or cartoon intro, it would have had its own gimmick in that it had an animated intro.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it on that. I think 2 of those games are absolutely terrible. One of them is actually really fun. I'd probably give it like an 8 or above if I enjoyed the motorcycle segments more. I'm going to be playing Crash 4 after this weekend, so I get to finally check that out, where you can toggle infinite lives and have a thing that highlights where your shadow is when you're platforming, instead of just not knowing where you're going to land.
Yeah,
it's always a good feature.
I'm trying to remember what the original versions of Crash did versus what the remasters did on that front. But yeah, no, it's really important that Crash puts a vertical line to the ground and puts a fucking spot there to go, look, right there.
They have almost nothing, Dan. I'll jump, and before I'm about to land, the shadow will do pop in as it's about to arrive. It's so useless.
That's very cool.
Yeah, that's all I had a chance to play this week.
I was going to ask, because I didn't get to see the stream at all. Did you just hand off to Carl every time you did a motorcycle level? Was he your striker for those? We did the motorcycle level, and he offered. He's like, "Hey, I can keep going." And I'm like, "Sure, man, why not?" Oh, okay.
So he just kept going, and it was great because they put up the little alert saying, "You're running out of time for this session."
What? Wait. That's a thing?
Yes, and then I have to recreate the party for PlayStation. It's weird.
Why is that a thing?
I don't know why that's a thing, but someone made an edit of a Batman comic of fucking Batman hugging his ghost parents, and it's just me hugging Carl saying, "Don't leave me."
What? It's like, Sony, we pay you.
After how long does it do this? Is it hours or is it like 30 minutes?
I think it's 1 hour or 30 minutes. Probably 1 hour.
That's fucking absurd. It's like we fucking pay for PlayStation Plus. Get fucked.
I know. I have to do 18 different buttons and remember how the party system on this thing works to get it. And they're like, "I accepted your screen share, but not your share play. I'm sorry."
Yeah, and I swear
that people barely use this, but come on.
Right?
I swear to God, they retooled this shit since launch too for the party system. Like on PS5, they retooled how that shit works entirely. So it's just
they updated everything, so it was very hard for me to combining the memory of what it was at launch to what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Um,
I haven't even looked at it since they changed it. I just saw the update. They announced that they fucked. They're like, we moved everything around. And I'm like, that's cool. I'll stumble into that basement with no working lights a few months from now, I guess.
Sure. When did Google buy you? Yeah. I did remember, thanks to chat, that I also did make a stream goal for Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures on Sega Genesis.
Genesis.
Yeah, based entirely upon that one 4chan post that had Fred from Scooby-Doo 2 saying, I think Pac-Man 2 sucks, and was banned for this post. I owned that growing up, so we knocked that out in less than an hour and a half. It is very delightful and very funny. just seeing Pac-Man hurt himself and make horrible noises. That Genesis sound chip is so bad on that game.
Yeah,
it made a soundtrack that already sounded weird sound terrible.
I've never played the Genesis version. For the record, I owned this game also growing up.
That's weird. I owned a Genesis for most of my childhood, but only played the Super Nintendo version of this.
Did you only play it because I owned it?
I don't think so. I think I rented it. I think I figured it just didn't exist on a Genesis.
Yeah, I found out later it was on Genesis, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Because I fucking hate that game. I've owned it my entire fucking life.
I know I rented it. It was like, oh, this sucks. Okay.
It's like a point and click. Imagine you're reading a book, Chad. This is how it feels emotionally for me to play this game. Imagine you're reading a book and some asshole just comes up and is like, and it just turns the page. He just turns the fucking page. He's like, you're done with that. And I'm like, no, go back, asshole. And that's what you're doing with Pac-Man the whole time? Yeah. You're like, no, go back, asshole. I wasn't done looking at that. And then he looks at you like a confused cat. He's just like, what? What could you possibly want? And I'm like, I want you to take Ritalin.
Yeah, it is the empath's ultimate video game where I hit a rooftop and some ghosts pop up, and you gotta use your slingshot to shoot like a power pellet at Pac-Man so you can eat it and take him out before he gets too scared and has a literal stroke and dies.
Yes,
but I threw it and it went slightly to the right, and he refused to look right, so he's just crawling left.
And like, dies. I've died in that exact spot you're talking about before.
And then he turned around finally when it was off screen and kept crawling, and I'm like, that shit despawned. We're fucking doomed.
It's like a perfect fusion of a point and click adventure and Dragon's Lair.
God.
I
no wonder as a kid I was just like, what is
Bob's
this?
like, I hate both of these things.
Oh yeah, 100%. You just kind of have to learn what the game wants. Like, you got to make Pac-Man get into a fight with a soda machine
in order to trip and knock his head on a thing, so a thing drops down.
Yes,
that's that whole game. It's it's very point and click adventure. Very cool.
You got to use your slingshot to fuck up the balloon seller, so all the balloons go away. He looks at Pac-Man, assumes he's responsible, inflates him through the mouth so you float up to the buildings at the very top. They're like, sure, just figure that out. The one interesting thing I learned through playing the Genesis version is they give you a different arcade game to unlock. On SNES, it was Miss Pac-Man and Pac-Man Jr. for Genesis, which I've never played. I don't even know if Pac-Man Jr. is a good game.
That's rough. I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
Miss Pac-Man's peak Pac-Man, and not even made by them. That's the best and funniest part of the legacy of Pac-Man. The best Pac-Man game was not made by Namco.
Yeah, right.
Made by bootleggers.
It was like, what if we made it less slow?
Oh. Yeah, I think that wraps up my stuff. I knocked those out over the weekend.
Okay, cool. Feel.
I finally beat Alundra for the first time.
Ooh.
Nice.
And the last, I assume.
Yeah, we're never gonna be going through that again.
That shit's gone.
It wasn't terrible, but it really did overstay its welcome. Like, it ran out of ideas way before the credits hit.
Now,
to the point that like the last third of that game is like either one, the dungeon is all combat rooms.
Oh, come on.
Or two, it's like we rehashed these earlier gimmicks and we're just throwing them at you almost randomly. Or it's the worst platforming ever. There is a fire dungeon where you have to use the ice staff to freeze a series of fireballs and then platform up them. and it is incredibly difficult. But there were still neat moments, like the thing in Alundra is that you go into people's dreams and save them from the evil nightmare that comes from the evil god. And at one point, one of the children get kidnapped by these monkey things. And you're like, well, we'll use twin powers because everybody knows twins are connected mentally. So I'll dive into the twin that wasn't captured's dream and come out next to the person who got kidnapped. So you get to do a dungeon that is double-sided. So there's stuff like you see the solution to a puzzle, then you go to the room in the other dream and the solution is reversed.
Okay.
That's neat.
Yeah, that sounds neat, but I imagine enough times it gets old, possibly.
That was actually one of the dungeons that did not overstay its welcome.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Because, yeah, that sounds neat.
There's one really bad dungeon which is the tree fortress of the monkey people. Where this dungeon's gimmick is you keep running into locked doors that are different from normal locked doors. So you have to go talk to a locksmith who was captured by the monkeys who hides in different places in like the hub of the dungeon. And you have to do this like 3 times.
Yeah, it doesn't sound great.
And then the very last dungeon before the final one is a fucking teleporter maze where you have to see every single unique room and hit a special switch in every unique room. The final dungeon was fine. It went on way, way, way too long. I would say it is 3 times longer than it should be. Also, they did something really deranged and cruel at the 11th hour of this game.
Okay.
Which is they entirely changed how combat worked.
It's always a good time to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. No, not the way you engage with combat, but rather the way damage works. Because before then, your weapons had hidden damage values, but it was like your dagger that deals 1 damage, the sword you get deals 4 damage. You get a better sword that deals 8 damage, and then you get the holy sword that deals 16 damage. And this is all hidden, of course. You don't get the damage numbers. It just like replaces the last one, and you can tell because lower enemies die instantly. And all the bosses would be like, okay, this boss has 300 health. The last, I guess. Well, let's count every phase of the final boss as one. So the last 3 bosses go, we're going to be quirky. Now every single thing you have almost deals 1 damage.
Great.
Which doesn't even, all it actually did was force me to not engage with the boss fights because that doesn't apply to magic. So I'm like, here's my strategy for the last 5 bosses. Use the fire spell that does way more damage. Use it again. Use it again. Use it again. I'm now out of magic. Drink the magic potion to restore all of my magic. Use it again. Use it again. Use it again. Use it again. And by then they're dead, and that was every single one of them. I didn't even have to think about them.
Holy shit.
Here I thought it was going to be like, 300 hit Shade Man. But no, it was like, forget it.
I like how you see Bob mentally preparing for 300 hit Shade Man.
That's what it would be if you didn't use the magic.
So I have a question about the rest of it, not this nightmare use magic coward thing at the end of the game. My experience when we Let's Played Yoshi's Island was that the game has amazing graphics, a great soundtrack, and really great gameplay, and a huge variety of things, but it front loads all of the variety in the game. So that way the entire back, let's say 3/4 is things you've already seen and done, but harder. Would you say Alundra ends up doing that, and that's the problem? Like they pull out every trick at the beginning?
Kind of, but it doesn't have that many tricks. It does not have it does not have enough tricks to justify this game length, even if they stretched it out.
Yeah, how many hours did you end up playing it?
I think it was somewhere around 35.
Whoa. I honestly,
mean, that was me like pausing to look at Twitter or
Right.
pausing to look at,
Yeah.
but still, like that, I would say it's probably 3 times longer than Link to the Past, at least 2.5.
Oh, yeah. This everything I saw about this made me think it'd be like 15 at most.
Right. Yeah.
No, it keeps fucking going. Also, it really doesn't have very many bosses. They kind of reuse every single one multiple times except for the final boss. It is really funny though, because when you defeat the final boss, the spirits appear to Alundra and are like, Alundra, you can't cuck out on this. You have to murder him. And it forces you to set him on fire yourself with the button press.
Naughty Dog was very inspired for The Last of Us.
All this time, like Alundra is a very dark game where many people die.
Okay.
And all this time, I thought that would be building up to something. Like it's like there would be some meaning.
Yeah.
But there's not. You set the guy on fire, and you don't even check back in with the village that like in game. You don't even like go check in with everybody who survived. It just cuts to like a 5-minute anime cutscene with no dialogue. So it's just like Alundra walking away from the village, waving at everybody because he's going on the next stage of his journey, and then like him waving at all these other people and walking through places, and then the game's over.
Oh, that reminds me of the end of the Fist of the North Star movie.
Yes, actually, 100%. Yeah.
So after that, I attempted to play Alundra 2.
Oh wow, attempted sounds good.
Alundra 2, I really wanted to power through it because it has fascinating cutscene direction. Its cutscenes are directed like a 70s anime.
Ooh.
To even to the point where like where the main character Flint like jumps at like a pirate robot because the villains in this are it's very like Future Boy Conan-esque, where the villain is like this evil wizard who sticks wind-up keys into living things and like turns them into his machine monsters.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So all his guys are like they're like putties, where they make like funny sounds and like do like clockwork walks. So Flint is fighting one of those and like jumps over, like they do like a jumping clash. And the Tron Bonne-esque character, who is voiced by Jennifer Hale, because this game is dubbed,
Okay.
pops out and like does her comedy beat, talking about how because she's a sky pirate, her and her brother and father are leaving, and then they're taking all the parachutes. So have fun, Flint. And the two of them pause in midair and turn their heads to react to her. And then like then like reality resumes and they fall down through like the glass floor they were fighting over.
Mm-hmm.
So it was full of interesting stuff like that. And you meet a princess a little bit later on, and she like takes off her helmet, and there's like a panning shot all around her of her face, and there's like roses in the background and stuff. It's very, very like Dazaki-esque. But boy, that game plays like shit.
Oh no.
And that's when feel segues into the controls feel like hell inside of an ass.
One, it's a fully 3D game.
Uh-huh.
But this was before they had figured out cameras.
Yeah, of course.
So you're using R1 and L1 to rotate, and the rotation isn't even smooth. It's on like 22.5 degree turns.
Okay.
You also have 8-way movement, even though this game supports the analog stick. And you walk by default, and your walk is really slow. You can run by holding a button, but that changes your attack into this really slow running attack that doesn't even really do more damage. And you have a ton of momentum when you're running. Like, it's difficult to change directions.
Huh.
And it just feels, it also looks really, really amateurish. Even though I think this game came out in like 2000.
Oh.
Oh,
I didn't
Oh,
expect
Yeah,
that.
this was a late PS1 game. Here, I'm going to put a screenshot of one of their cutscenes where they're trying to do a Mega Man Legends-esque thing, and it doesn't work out for them.
Yeah, everything I thought from this made me think was way earlier than that.
oh my god.
But also knowing that Elantra 1 came out on PS1 told me it had to be later in the life cycle. That just didn't click.
Oh, there are phases.
So-
I had to zoom in a little bit to see this.
Yeah, you got to see the little dots. So I really was hoping that I could see, because the cutscenes were like, they were interesting enough to for me to keep going, but man, it plays so bad. And the dungeons transparently have no IDs. It's like the idea is that we got 3D working.
Pretty good idea.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
I tried to play some other things. I tried to play that Medieval remake on PS4.
Oh.
I didn't know anything about Medieval. I didn't know what that game was. I didn't expect it to be almost entirely focused on the really basic combat.
Yeah. When we played that, I was a little bit surprised it was that big a focus on that.
Yeah. Because it's
also, I don't know if this is something the remake fucked up, but the game gives you no feedback on getting hit at all. Like I would hit I would beat up some guys and think I did that perfectly, and then look up and be like, well, how did I lose half my health? He doesn't make a sound. He doesn't react. It doesn't flash.
He just said it's okay and rolled over dead. I don't understand.
That seems like something that'd be a problem in an early PS1 game, honestly. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't mess that up, but it was just, oh no, we had to recreate it, even though it was bad.
Yeah, this feels it's one of those things where I'm like, was Medieval a much lower rent game than Crash and Spyro, or is this remake much lower rent than the Crash and Spyro remakes, or both?
Medieval has been a game that Sony, much like Siphon Filter, has been insisting is a very important game that people care about, and I have been confused for over 2 decades.
I assume it's popular in Europe, and that's all I can get.
Bob's image of England is it's raining and 2 people going, "Oi, governor! They made a new Medieval right there, Dick."
I love Medieval in 50 FPS. I do.
It's got much soul, mate.
and then that guy became the head of Sony.
I know, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I love this. Not that old shit. No.
I'm gonna be really fucking upset if it comes out at some point that this thing bombing made them reevaluate other projects like it.
Right, because it's like, no, that was clearly your worst one.
It literally is. They could have done Motor Tune Grand Prix and that would have performed better.
I also tried to because I'm trying to go through like everything that I haven't played enough that's on my shelf.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to play some more Dragon Quest Heroes 2. That seems fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the weird open world thing it's going with really works in a Muso game.
Yeah, it's really just there too.
I also don't really think it has interesting levels.
Oh.
No, not really.
Like I don't know. I feel like I have pretty strict standards for Muso games because I've liked like 3. One of them was the first Hyrule Warriors, which I like a lot. I like One Piece Warriors 4 or Pirate Warriors 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I played like Warriors Orochi 3 or one of those, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I like 3 too. Dynasty Warriors 3. That's the 3 I like.
Yeah, that one.
That one and 5 are amazing, and they've infected my brain for over 2 decades, or basically 2 decades, because they convinced me to be interested in every new Muso game. Hoping.
And I haven't played Persona 5 Strikers yet, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah, I feel like with that Dragon Quest one, I really was pulling shoe because I was interested in the story more than actually it being a good game.
Wow.
See, I can't even have that because I played a bunch of 1, And 2 does fix the problem I had with 1, where in 1 the maps are like 3 minutes long, and then you're back to base and have to go through a bunch of stuff to get to the next one.
Yeah.
So it at least fixes that, because you have like 5 of those in a row.
Mm-hmm.
But I already played the first, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to just keep randomly finding characters from other Dragon Quest games.
Mm-hmm.
They will speak in British. And basically I stopped playing after a couple hours, being like, okay, I had my fill. Boy, I really wish they'd make a definitive version of Dragon Quest 11 instead of this weird thing where Dragon Quest S runs at a lower resolution than the original did, even on PS5.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's unfortunate.
I'm also trying to overcome this condition I have where I keep wanting to play Horizon Forbidden West, and I boot it up,
Mm-hmm.
and
Well,
the
they have
title
the update
screen
today,
pops
Phil.
up.
Yeah, that's true. We have that update.
The title screen pops up, and I just look at the title screen and go, "No, I'm sorry," and turn the PS5 off.
It's okay. You'll play on very hard mode to really immerse yourself.
Phil just drives to his child that no longer has a connection to him. That he's been a deadbeat dad for 8 years. Shows up at the door. They walk up to the door, and then he goes, "No, I'm sorry," and just leaves.
The kid has a bowl cut. He just leaves.
And then I
did you just try to say Horizon Forbidden West is an 8-year-old with a bowl cut?
Yes.
Bob, that's
and
me.
Then,
I know. It's me too.
And then I go see the kid that Big Brother paired me with on my motorcycle, Elden Ring.
But
yeah, that's everything I played. I played a bunch of stuff, but none of it extensively except Alundra 1, which I finally beat. And I would say that game is worse than every single Zelda game except maybe Oracle, because I really didn't like the version of Oracle I played. It was mostly just combat rooms and nothing else.
Was that Seasons or Ages? Do you remember?
I don't remember. Which I think is a testament to how good Zelda is, that none of them fall even close to being Alundra, which I still think is mostly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zelda's a really strong series.
It rules.
Granted, I didn't play Phantom Hourglass or Spirit Tracks.
Phantom Hourglass is solid. I need to play it again, but Spirit Tracks, oh man, I dropped that so fast.
Spirit Tracks is like the God of War Ascension of Zelda, where nobody knows what it is.
Yes!
I wonder what will happen if we get a theme month.
Oh,
God. Well, if that's all Phil wanted to talk about, then that means Pod Lords.
Oh no.
Oh fuck.
Oh shit.
Oh, fuck, we're going back to the intro! Yes, that's right. It's the Pod Lords.
Ooh.
Y'all got some of them Pod Lords?
Yeah.
You're gonna in like 10 seconds. You gotta give me a second to set this up.
Oh, okay.
We got some sick Podlord music, Jesus.
It's Donkey Kong Country 2 Disco Train for anyone in the call right now who can't hear it. The audience can.
Okay, that fits the mood of Podlords.
Hell yeah, it does. Windows, please.
I look forward to us having an adjustable light, so when the second it starts, we can just start making dudes go crazy in the background.
Just trigger it.
Yeah.
I cannot believe this right now. There's no way
Thanks,
it's doing
Windows.
this to me. There's no way it's doing this to me. I actually did set this up in advance, for the record.
Right? No, this is
the
Windows, though.
In the future, the Podlord segment will be me just showing a spreadsheet and not saying a single word.
We live in a cursed realm.
Man, everyone in the chat has such good dancing emotes. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. We're rocking out.
Well, we're gonna have to do this the alternative way, which is stupid as hell, but it'll work. Here we go. Boys, boys.
Oh my god.
Don't worry, we got this. We got this. Okay.
I will trust the plan.
Trust the plan. Okay, good. That worked. Thank you, plan, for working. That first one should have worked for the record, but Windows stopped letting OBS grab the photos thing I had open.
Oh my god.
I'm serious. Windows is just trying to trip me up. Yes, that's right. The Podlords. Podlords such as E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown, Whoa, Elabits B. Upon Ye, Red Blaze 27, Billionaire Genius, Juicifrost, Scumbag the Medium tells you to kill yourself, refuses to die. Oh my god, it's like way off screen. Here we go. Boop, boop,
Oh
boop, boop,
my
boop.
god.
It's a pretty good image. It really, like, look at that.
There you go.
How dare it?
I know, that's really not cool. I'm just gonna do one of these so we get a little bit less of Windows UI.
Just a smidge.
This is exactly how I imagined it going.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
I
why
know.
we're doing it this week instead of next week with the fucking Game Fest anyways. Okay, here we go. And then we disappeared. Emperor Zero, Shibuya Gato. Shout out to artist Vader-san, who may or may not have inspired bits of Miraidon.
Nice.
Nice.
Her name is Poison Ivy, but I call her Whittle Jimmy.
Whoa, Jim.
Very small.
Or Whittle, some might say. I'm getting nervous that I did cover Emperor Zero Shibuya Gato. Too many moving parts that aren't working correctly.
Yes.
101 Shades of Wonderful, remastered. WTF, Spider-Man. Mr. I Like Spam. I added the question mark. I can't believe the Mad Lads at Game Freak actually created Professor Giga Chad.
Yes.
God.
That chin is strong.
He's not big enough.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We don't have a sense of scale.
That
Bob, that's a garage.
his body's built like a Milo.
Yeah, we don't know. Dude could be carved out of stone. DFW 3K. Wheel bang, okay. Still not over that your main gameplay loop in MiHoYo's dating sim is owning people with facts and logic.
I didn't even fucking know they made a dating sim.
Trumps empathy.
All right.
Yep. Yeah, it's too much.
Kristen, Raido Kuzunoha, and Nocturne Figma pre-order waiting room? Hi, Adam here. I downloaded an entire MAME ROM set and I'm curating it for a streaming project. It's hell. There is too much porn.
Of course.
Kyle Bjork, BN12. Hi, my name is Dan Video Games, and I integrates. This is identity theft, Podlord. I have your email. Maddie Moe, Iron Aggro, Blig the Blue, Slig this Poo, Monster Hunter, Ryzen and Raiden, Jordan, Cooper Tank, Cave Woman Mommy in a lab coat, or Giga Dad from the future. Game Freak giving us a tough choice.
God.
And this is the world we live in.
Yep.
AG has been tricked into playing Lobotomy Corporation because of birds and red-haired ladies with great thighs.
Sometimes it's too easy.
God, fuck that thing.
You should save yourself now.
Oh my god, her face has been altered so much. It's rough.
His name is Montgomery Mortimer Muddlesworth, and his favorite snack is a microwaved egg.
Cultured.
Indigo Sykes, evil Lucario. A raccoon that really needs a new chair.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is a whole couch. He's fine.
I know, I'm like, that looks better than my chair.
You're manspreading, too.
He's a very comfy raccoon. Jack Columbo. It's a jump scare.
Oh my god.
Shinji16 would like to remind you that you matter, you are valid, and you deserve to be happy and enjoy Nitro Pepsi. Shinji. Stop selling the spot to Pepsi.
I don't want to hee-ho bother you.
That was pretty good. Virmvarm. Happy Pride Month.
Women with swords and booty jars.
What's the name of that? Vagrant Story? Yeah, that's Vagrant Story,
Yeah, that's
right?
Vagrant Story. Troy Baker has really been killing it on your content lately.
Oh,
Troy
thank
Baker's
you.
the voice of the demon in the medium.
yeah.
Oh.
We can't escape.
I didn't even look at the top left because I knew Kari was up there, so my eyes went no.
Karya and homeopathic Karya.
I don't know why he's facing the wrong way. It should have been showing the gigantic butt that demon has.
I know. We were like, chat was elated. It was very funny, and then we were like, "Oh, it's a female demon." Okay, that's why the giant ass is here. I see. That's the only reason you thought of that this time. I'm on to you. Whoa, Black Betty. Grangalam.
All right.
What, Bob? You don't like that song?
No, it's great.
What? Where is this motherfucker from?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I've seen him before, but I don't remember. I think it's Final Fantasy VII, maybe?
Whoa. I read that one. The Super Mim. Lane's World 25. The Hard M. Busy explaining to friends why buying 1 month of Xbox Live to play Anthem as a bit is a good use of time and money.
No.
No, I'm sorry, man.
I'm sorry, Hard M. I'm sorry.
Unless you're making a Dragon Age retrospective and you need to show where the aborted Dragon Age 4 went.
Yeah. That is the reason. Saraline. Pokemon battles on motorcycles?
More likely than you think.
More likely than you think. Pleochrome and Ram. Ram is a podlord for just 1 month to show her appreciation. Thank you very much to our podlords.
Thank God, lords.
Thank you, podlords.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
podlords.
Pod Lords. No.
What, you don't want to just... Don't worry, I got
If
this.
you want a subscription to Apple TV Plus,
I got this. Don't worry. Here we go.
And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits, such as extended armchair dev pitches and gamer premonitions with those I shows force us to leave ideas on the cutting room floor. I'm really going through a lot right now looking at Ted Lasso. Early access to Chugging Bleach, our Bleach review podcast, where we review all of Bleach, even the filler arcs. We already did the Bount arc, which scarred us all deeply forever.
Phil lives inside that mustache.
And a patron exclusive show, one per month, where you get to watch, where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. That's patreon.com/GB podcast. And if you don't have any money, telling people about us also helps us out immensely. And if you don't have any friends, I would recommend getting really into street art and just spray painting our Patreon Earl on buildings. Satire parody. Patreon.com/GB podcast.
Okay. We can finally take this out of this view.
It only cracks up Feel so bad because Ted Lasso looks exactly like Feel.
Could you imagine? I struggle to imagine that, Bob. That actually, that's haunting to just be like,
yeah, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you.
There we go. Okay, we're out of there. I hear we need to talk about some news. Is that? I think that's right.
Seems right.
Here, let me just. Okay, there we go. I'm ready to talk about news. Hey, Bob.
Hey,
how's it going?
All right.
News? I don't have any, actually, because of the fucking move. We'll start with Bob. Bob, you go ahead.
So I watched the horrible Arxis stream.
You fool!
I'm so
You'll
sorry.
never learn.
No, he won't.
I'm so sorry.
Nobody ever learns.
3,000 other people showed up to this stream. Okay, I wasn't the only one who got gypped here.
That is true.
3,000 people took the L with me.
Yes, and I knew going in it had to be bad. I knew, but I was like, I am responsible. I should be here.
That is true.
I'm responsible, Bob. I really wouldn't legally indemnify yourself like that.
That thing was like 30 minutes straight of them, two dudes that were marketing for Arxis in the States, trying to talk about their favorite Guilty Gear song. One of them refused to name any because he obviously didn't know the names of any.
That's...
He couldn't even say Blank's theme.
No. He was just like, I like them all. I like them all. Is the other guy's trying desperately to bounce off him, and he won't. It just doesn't work.
It's good. It's good. It's good. I've never heard such good music before. It's good. It's good.
So after 20 minutes, I just left it silently. I played something else in the corner. Nothing was announced, period. Nothing at all. This thing lasted 50 minutes.
I'm so sorry.
Unforgivable.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever showing up for an event of theirs again. I really don't.
Hopefully not.
Man. Something that might have slipped by people. A new exciting game from Yu Suzuki got announced.
Oh, that did slip by me.
Air Twister. If you haven't looked at this trailer, go look at this trailer.
I will.
This is Yu Suzuki with WiseNet, the guys who made Shenmue 3 with him. Working on a game that's trying to be like a Panzer Dragoon / Space Harrier sort of game. It's only on phones. It's only on Apple Arcade, specifically. Which is unfortunate, but this game looks insane. You're flying a gigantic goose. It's clearly got inspiration from lots of old Sega stuff. You can level up your princess, I guess is who you're playing as. And she can be this person in like a weird cyber jumpsuit or all sorts of other things. This game looks insane. There's really no other way to describe it other than, it's a flying shooter in the vein of Panzer Dragoon. You like on rails, target enemies to shoot them, but just was insane stuff in the background.
Oh, this is Space Harrier.
Yeah, Space Harrier / Panzer Dragoon. It's weird. It's really weird. A lot of people were saying Space Harrier though.
Yeah, this is really like it being a person doing it with like a gun is very Space Harrier.
Yeah, but there's also scenes where you fly the goose.
Yeah, where you fly the goose. Neat.
Yeah, this game's insane. I have no idea.
Every screenshot of her on the goose looks like it belongs on a graphics card in 2003.
Yes, it's got a very graphics card art style to it. Just her whole model looks like it's off the asset store or something too, which adds to it, I think.
There we go. I actually finally got this pulled up for people.
Okay.
Here's your GTX 3080, bro.
Oh, nice. Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you just an army of giant geese.
That's pretty cool.
Fucking base this look.
Man,
And then
Apple
you have
Arcade
like
getting that.
knockoff Samus Aran.
it's great.
Yes.
Oh, that is some Panzer Dragoon environments for sure.
Right, that's what I was saying about that too. It was like,
Hey, these environments look better than the remake.
I know, right? It was like, this looks so much better than
But I
that.
didn't want to say it.
This is a fucking phone game.
Hopefully, it comes to something else later. But I understand
It's
chasing that
Apple
profit.
Arcade. It better be on the fucking MacBook.
Yeah, right.
Well, Dan, of course this looks better than that. That was a Switch game. This is on modern phones, not phones from 7 years ago.
I mean, you're not wrong to say that, but I think a lot of it's art design.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of just art design is better in this.
But that's cool. Is that out?
No,
Or
it comes out in June, though, I think. Let me
Okay.
make sure that I write down June 24th. So we're
Cool.
close.
Great. Once the summer of gaming's over, I have a hot new game to play.
And my only other news article here is this has got announced seconds after we finished recording Big Think last week. A new game called Wuthering Waves.
Okay.
This is made by another Chinese mobile phone game company.
Is the director Wally?
No. I know, right?
What the wing wave?
But they previously worked on Punishing Gray Raven, which is a phone action game. This is their Genshin Impact. It's an open world action adventure game with lots of cool platforming stuff. Like it showed off wall running, double jumps, gliders, all sorts of stuff. It looked really cool. So I'm excited to see more of those mobile phone game companies enter this space.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited now that phones are good enough to just be like, no, we made a real game and we can also put it on everything else, so you can play the real game on something that isn't a phone.
Right.
What a concept.
Yeah, which they actually announced that I'm almost certain they said that this is coming to other platforms other than phones, because their previous game is only on phones.
I'm also glad that these Chinese companies at least seem to understand the social contract, where if you make $2 billion a year, your game should look like you make $2 billion a year.
Yes.
It shouldn't be like every EA sports game where it looks like it's from 10 years ago and also sets your console on fire.
Right. That's
Yes.
literally what I was going to say. I'm like, yeah, FIFA totally looks like they make $2 billion a year, right?
Right.
Well, that's it for Bob's news. We're going to go to Phil, but I'm going to steal the first half of Phil's first bullet because it gave me a gigantic stroke.
Oh yeah, the one where I was at a post office trying not to cry.
Dontnod rebrands as Dontnod.
Finally. Just saying what we all were thinking.
Ubisoft. No, Ubisoft.
Dontnod. Palindrome rebranded as DON''T space NOD.
Good.
In what world does it make sense to do that? How many nightmare conferences did you go through where some human just went, I don't know how to say your name?
Yeah, everyone's like Dontnod.
Is that Donald's?
That is a big part of naming, as I learned. Did you know H&R Block is because it was two brothers and their last name was Block, BLOCH. And they were like, everybody is going to pronounce that wrong. Just use the word block.
Smart. That is really smart.
So they changed their name and also announced 5 new projects. They didn't say what any of them were. They just showed their logo in different aesthetics.
We'll get 5 terrible games. Great.
Yeah, I'm really Vampire is one of those games from nobody's ever played this, so I don't know if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Remember Me is horrible. And I hear
I spent the entire The Medium stream going, this is Remember Me, but worse.
Right?
What?
Moving on, there was a Saga stream this week where they talked about Saga, the Square Enix franchise. They announced Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered, Romancing Saga Minstrel Song being the PS2 remake of the original Romancing Saga. They said it will include, higher resolution, all that, but it's also going to have a lot of quality of life improvements, to which I responded, but fucking better, it's a Saga game.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. For anyone who's really confused why they announced this, Saga Man, high up at Square Enix, says, okay, it's time to remaster a PS2 one, and somebody, Ren and Stimpy style, panicking with the music blaring, just goes, this one!
Yes. I'm surprised this one didn't come to the States before, but they brought Unlimited Saga. I mean, this one looks hideous.
I think this did come to the
Did
States
it?
already.
I'm just sitting here and I'm like, I get them never wanting to touch Unlimited Saga.
Yeah, Unlimited Saga's a nightmare. This one looks hideous. I don't know if you've seen it.
No.
Yeah, this got a release here. It was
Okay.
in 2005 though, so it was super late.
Oh,
And
no
that's
wonder.
pretty right.
This does look pretty hideous.
Yeah,
but-
it's some of the absolute worst chibi style characters I've ever seen in 3D.
Oh, you know what
sure
this
is.
You know what this art reminds me of?
Yeah.
You remember that really old, like fucking absolutely ancient Korean MMO music video where the characters dancing to an overly cute song?
That was better looking than this.
I know, but that's what they look like. It's so blocky and terrible.
To me, they just look like slightly more fucked up Crystal Chronicles characters.
Yeah, I can kind of
Yes.
see that.
Somebody pulled. No, guys, I'm talking about something from 2007, not
Yeah.
Dokov.
Yes.
But thank you for trying.
Dokkan has a lot of energy of that, though.
It does.
Hey, Dokkan is one of the games I'm really excited about because I'm like, is it real? Every single thing you've shown of it looks super fucking fake.
I know. I'm really thrilled. Hopefully, the Summer of Games brings us some more Dokkan.
But I said that about Genshin Impact, and then it came out and all that shit was real. I was like, you can't freeze the water and then walk across it. That's fucking stupid. And then you actually can.
And then by that logic, the 7 Deadly Sins game is going to come out, and it's going to be that amazing and have a completely unique animation for swimming that's
No, I'm sorry.
Uncharted 4 tier. But yeah, you're right. It does look like Crystal Chronicles, but someone took a bat to it and it entered a mini game from Street Fighter 2, and they're the car.
It's like they took it to Photoshop and used the scaling tool, but forgot what they were doing and only adjusted part of it.
Oh,
I didn't highlight all the points.
What it looks like.
What happened?
They forgot.
Holy shit.
They forgot to hold shift, so
Yeah.
the proportions aren't quite right.
Yeah.
Next on to really exciting news. Warhammer 40k Bolt Gun was announced. It's a Warhammer 40k boomer shooter.
How has that not happened yet?
Because the revival didn't happen until a couple of years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was going to say they started licensing Warhammer a lot, like during 8th gen, but it wasn't like long enough of a period, and games take so long to make nowadays that it kind of makes sense that it took this long for the boomer shooter.
I also kind of figured that Hired Gun was boomer shooter-esque, but maybe not.
The other one they released recently is an immersive sim.
Oh, okay.
Which means you can shit.
Yes, we've been over this.
We'll save the next one for last. Spark the Electric Jester 3 was announced. It's made by Lake Fapard, who made Spark 1 and 2, and also Sonic before the sequel, after the sequel, and Chrono Adventure.
Cool.
I watched the trailer. That looked kind of neat.
Yeah, one, I only played Spark the Electric Jester 1, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of bad.
I
It
bought...
had a little it had a little bit of the Freedom Planet problem where it's like, which you have to pick a Sega Genesis game to be.
No.
You can't
No.
be all of them.
Hey, what's your game inspired by? My childhood. Oh, okay. All right. Oh, this is cool. This third level, checking this giant worm from Treasure Game. Wait, is that your mom and dad? Why are they arguing?
Why did the game get really bad after they broke up? I don't understand. What are you
The
trying to
controls
say?
don't
What
work
the
anymore.
fuck?
The graphics
Come
are corrupted.
And finally, Dragon Age 4 now has an official title, Dragon Age Dreadwolf.
I'll just read what I wrote here. Yeah, good. So me and the wolf both fucking dread this piece of fucking shit.
And then I'll read what I wrote. Dreadwolf, the only thing I'm dreading is this fucking game.
What were they thinking?
course.
They showed nothing. They announced nothing. They said it's not coming out this year, but they will show it off this year. If you're curious, Dreadwolf is the name of the antagonist that they established at the end of the last game.
Why? Why not just reboot it at this point? You're not even numbering it. God.
They care. I hate that they care.
The only one that was numbered was Dragon Age 2. Dragon Age 3 was Inquisition.
Oh, that's true. Oh, man.
And I'm pretty sure Dragon Age 2 just didn't have a subtitle because they didn't have time to think of one. They made it in 11 months.
Yeah, obviously.
It apparently takes them 5 years.
God.
See, I'm excited to finally see this game because everything I've ever speculated about it is irrelevant because it got rebooted 4 times during the span we've done these podcasts.
I know, right?
That's the most exciting thing. For all we know, bits of Anthem ended up in it.
It really sucks when we talk about games where it's like, yeah, we discussed this game on episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't this game, actually.
No, this was this games ago.
We're like, I don't know, the next Dragon Age ?
It's like how we spent years making fun of Microsoft's quadruple A game. Then they announced it. Then a month later said, we canceled it. And now Crystal Dynamics is making a game with its title, but it's totally different.
Yep.
That's not technically true. I think it was 8 months is how long it lasted.
Yeah, maybe 6.
No, because they showed it at the Game Awards.
Mm-hmm. And at that point, they were making it.
Were they? I thought they didn't announce it till like February that Crystal Dynamics was coming in.
No, Crystal Dynamics. Well, okay. Them as a support studio was probably announced the next 6 months, but them as the only studio was about 8 months later, and that was the thing I was thinking about.
Okay.
It's like
that was my news.
Dan, when did you move your stuff over to Bob's? Oh, I moved it over a few months ago. Cool. When did you evict Bob from his own house?
And it's on the list.
Yeah, it's a couple months ago. It took me a little while to just excise.
We're understanding on how hard it is for you to handle all these things all at once.
Well, then, next news is KZ.
All right. First up on the list, Sonic Frontiers got a couple snippets of gameplay, but the big thing was over at IGN. They're going to be showing stuff throughout the month. So we got to look at the game. It's like open area structure. Features all of Sonic's abilities from like Forces and the Boost era. But in an open environment, he's climbing towers, collecting weird fruit and items, completing puzzles, running around stuff like Wonderful 101 style to like activate or do combat. Yeah, that's all I got written for what we were shown.
It looks weird.
Yeah,
it does look. One, it looks weird. 2, I'm not opposed to this in principle because it's just scaling up the traditional 3D platformer structure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
3, dear every game company in existence, please never let your gameplay reveal being someone from IGN playing your fucking game.
Holy shit.
Never again.
Actually, in case you guys didn't know, not even his gameplay.
I figured this looks like developer footage. Like, there's no way they have a working build of this.
That dude came out by the end of the day to say, they didn't let me show my gameplay. I've played a lot of things that are not shown in that video at all, and it's pretty promising. Please look forward to hearing more.
Yeah,
and it's just like
one of those things where, like, every time they do an E3 show of a game, I feel like there's a high chance of they're going to give you the bad demo. Where it's like, here's Doom 2016. We're going to slowly pan around the screen and jaunt our way across. And I'm like, this isn't telling me how the game's actually going to feel when I'm playing it.
Yeah.
Just cut a 3-minute gameplay trailer, please.
No, 7 minutes of wandering.
Yeah.
Like, no one, I don't know how you do that for Sonic. And you'd be like, no, try and just make something crazy when you're like running around and doing that stuff. It just, I hate when they do these because you have to wait even closer to launch to maybe know how it actually plays.
Because this makes me assume the game isn't even close to done. Like, we're talking next year or something.
Did they announce a date?
Yes, this year.
Okay.
This year?
Yes.
Okay.
That shit ain't hitting.
It's a Sonic game. They'll ship.
Yeah, they'll ship.
They
don't care.
Although people came out and said, yeah, apparently this build they showed us was like months and months old.
Yeah, like Dan
So,
was
like-
just saying, the dude from IGN sounds like he actually played something that resembles a video game.
This also matched up with those leaks that we got over a year ago about what this game was going to be. Back when it was called Sonic Rangers, and everything has been right, which means if it's all 100% right, there are actual 3D action stages that you'll go into alongside this open world area type stuff.
I thought the whole thing was you slipped into 2D gameplay dungeons. I'm not making a joke here. I thought the leak literally said that.
I don't recall any 2D stuff.
That I remember that being in that leak too.
Oh, okay.
Oh God. Oh no.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
I didn't know the trailer went live. I just saw Pat and people on Twitter talking about whether or not the 2D gameplay in 3D Sonics was good, and I was like, what a weird day for that to happen. I'm gonna keep beating.
The official take is it's acceptable in Generations and terrible in every other form they've ever done it in.
Yes.
Did Sega send your man for that take, or just like this footage came from Sega? I think the leak said Generation style levels.
Ugh.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. I figured I would just care because I don't see a world in which this doesn't show up again.
Yeah, no, they're going to show
throughout
this
the summer of
They're
gaming.
this IGN thing is all month. They're going to keep releasing more and more.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
it's like
why
a
I
month
didn't
cover
even look
story.
at it.
Yeah, no, you should watch it. You should look. You should.
No, I'm
you
gonna
should
see.
have.
I'm
You
gonna
should
see.
have.
No. I'm gonna see that shit next week or the week after. There's no way. There's no way I'm not.
I think that the way that he moves around looks weird and off in a strange way that I'm almost like, is it 8-directional movement? It looks that bizarre.
Huh. Okay.
Well, don't worry. Tomorrow we're getting the combat trailer.
Great.
Okay.
All right. Moving on. We got some, I don't know, seems like slightly good news here. Junichi Matsuda, the imp-a-dimp of the GB Podcast Network, has left Game Freak, is now going to be joining the Pokemon Company to oversee new products and services. Let's go, Pokemon Sleep.
I'm very excited to see like what this means for the game franchise.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, he
Because-
will no longer be involved in actually developing any of the games.
Like this isn't even a Junichi Masuda bad thing. It's just like, are we suddenly going to get voice acting and like UI upgrades that make it not like an NES game?
That'd be neat.
Like, are we suddenly going to progress?
I mean, there was a lot of progression that happened in Arceus. It was just nice stuff.
That was a spin-off.
They keep saying that.
I think some of the footage from stuff that came out looks pretty Arceus core.
Yeah, I know. I'm like,
Yeah.
I feel like that was basically the tech demo for
Yeah.
the real game.
Yeah. You gotta get that double dip.
But yeah, they should eventually we have to get voice acting. It looks like it ain't happening this time, but
Yeah, no, not a
Yeah,
chance.
it's
But
like
yeah,
it's only
It
been
makes me sad.
been standard. Let's see. Let me. I say Final Fantasy X is when it became standard.
I think that's when
That
it
was
became
all-
the bar. Yeah.
that was only
Yeah.
21 years ago. Come on, give them some time.
if plenty of
Yeah,
games on the
they all-
PS1 had voice acting too, but that's when it got really like we could voice act the whole thing.
Yeah,
They only had that scene in Pokemon Sword and Shield where the dude is singing and it's mute, but they have microphone sounds.
well, come on, Pokemon Black and White 2 never came out. No?
Sword and Shield are truly the worst the franchise ever got. Hopefully we never hit that bottom of the barrel again.
I'm sure this will be much better than Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
we got
looks
some
really
news here
promising.
for we got some news here for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They put right after leaving Game Freak. We also have trailers for the new hotness. So it's going to be coming November 18th. They showed off the new cover legendaries, Koraidon and Miraudon.
I don't know how they keep doing this. I love lizards, and I'm just like, your lizard designs are bad. What happened?
I'm sorry.
I don't
Bob.
know.
They-
Miraudon rules.
we're not doing lizards for you, I guess.
Yeah, we're gonna give them all gigantic throats that do this.
That do what? 1 second. I was like,
they're like
ow.
gigantic.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like they break their own neck.
We gotta stick
Yeah.
the imp-a-dimp in between us, Bob.
Yeah, you
That's
got to make
fair.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more requests.
No more requests.
On top of that, we got 3 new Pokemon in the form of Pawmi, which is like an electric mouse, I think I saw it was.
Yeah, it's a Pikachu.
Yeah, Lechonk, a normal type pig, and Smoliv, a grass normal olive.
Yeah,
Smoliv's really good.
Smoliv's really good.
It's very scared, and I'm like, good. Get me back to execute tier, but also incredibly cute.
Smoliv fucking rules.
Yeah, all these other Pokemon are great.
Yeah. They showed off that this is gonna have version specific professors. So we got I think it's Professor Sada.
Yeah.
And Turo.
Yeah.
Which is just supposed to be if you take off the front of both names, it's supposed to be like Spanish for past and future.
Yeah, Pasado and Futuro.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're trying to evoke that with the games. And also it's going to, instead of just having 18 million ghosts appear to ruin your frame rate, they will instead just do 4-player online co-op where you can battle, explore the areas, or trade and stuff.
Yeah, that looks really cool. I'm very excited. That's a logical place for the series to go.
Based on what they want to do with it from an appeal angle and tech angle, it makes perfect sense for this to be the way they take the series. Especially since you saw what the non-existent dungeon caves and all sorts of stuff in Sword and Shield was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your little icons going up there.
Yeah, this seems like it will probably have a story also.
Hopefully.
Which Sword and Shield really didn't.
They are doing this thing where apparently you can explore the world in any order, which is really exciting.
Yeah, it would be nice if they
that
did
is neat.
I would really like the idea of just like they will scale the boss challenges based on where you go and stuff.
Yeah, that would make sense. Just have your.
It reminds me of they did the Pokemon OVA series where it was actually based on Red and Blue. And when they run into Brock, he's like, "Oh, you have no badges," and then he selects an amount of Pokemon based on that. So it's like that world building of they have to adjust based on what kind of trainer is in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's nice.
Yeah, this is honestly a really hype trailer. I was worried we were going to get something like the Sword and Shield trailer, where it's like, yeah, it was all about the Gigantamax, and I was like, who cares?
Yeah,
it's really weird how Game Freak has this issue where the first thing they release on a new console is kind of a dud, and then they knock it out of the park the second time. Like,
excuse me.
Okay,
hello?
lots of people like Gen 4, but
I
Gen
love
5
watching.
is clearly much better.
I like watching bar go down slowly.
Yeah.
Then we had X and Y, and Sun and Moon just blow that X and Y's dick off.
Yeah, no, it's not even.
It's like this weird scale too of the first one keeps getting worse and worse, and the second one keeps getting better and better. Like it feels like
exactly.
Yeah.
Like
you're totally right.
They land with bigger thuds as the generations get deeper.
That's they have maximum dynamic range now, so the lows they hit are lower than ever, but the highs they hit are higher than ever. That's the hope, anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. My expectations for this are still really, really high. I watched the trailer. I was happy with everything in it. It didn't really move the needle for me. I'm literally expecting at least a 9 out of 10 out of this game.
Yeah, it looks great.
Really exciting stuff.
This did push me over to be like, I guess I'll pick up Scarlet, even though if they just made it actually red, I'd be happy to do it. But they made it orange.
Yeah.
What is the deal with that? But that professor, I will definitely take over weird looking future dude.
What's wrong with the
Over
Giga Chad?
Yeah,
what's wrong with
his face just looks wrong.
I don't know what you're talking about.
His beard has weird creases in it.
Yeah,
and his body is very slim in a way. I don't like it at all. I hate that design.
You're not ready for the future.
He looks like Pewter from AI the Somnium Files.
And everyone keeps saying Giga Chat. If it was Giga Chat, I would just buy it.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that'd be amazing. If we had a gigantic rip dude as the professor, if we had Kui again, I'd buy that. We do not. Instead, it's someone who kind of upsets me. Like, scares me. More than upsets me, rather. He just is really, he's really unsettling looking.
I finally realized okay. I can't find it.
What?
I know who drew it, but I don't know where they deposited Okay, yeah, that's a little bit of what I'm talking about here. Okay, hear me out, Bob.
Okay.
I think they drew this professor. Let me get rid of Impidimp by Masuda. I think he looks like this dude with a beard. I think that's like the head shape. Just looks
Again, if his chin was this big, that'd be noteworthy. Instead, it just looks strange.
I have it muted. There's a very good song that goes with that. Anyways.
Okay. I'm excited for Pokemon.
Yeah, no, this should be the best Pokemon in a long while.
Yeah,
hopefully.
I'm very hyped.
Yeah. I'm glad if it.
What's up?
Another thing they showed was you will have like your partner Pokemon follows you around in like a fully 3D game like Arceus, which is crazy. So they're going to be real sizes.
Thank God. That's what I want.
Someone also pointed out that you could see the little olive dudes just behind a trainer, and they're just super tiny. They're just shoving the ground. I'm like, oh, that's great.
So good.
I mean,
that's
small is in their name.
Yes.
It better not be too big.
I feel like with what is it, Lechonk, I am so petrified of what that will evolve into.
It's gonna be great. I don't know what we're talking about. You can't screw up that pig.
Okay, I don't need it to be like the sheep one or whatever from fucking Sword and Shield.
That's fair.
It's going to evolve into a pig that is just shaped like a steel barrel from Donkey Kong Country.
Sure, I will take that over whatever the hell they did to make Boltund.
I like Boltund. I understand people being upset.
They also show a ton of customization options for the characters, which thank you.
Yeah. They really need to flesh that out, especially for the guy characters, because the girls always win in Pokemon games. They end up having like 40% more.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty solid in Arceus, but it definitely could be better.
Mm-hmm. If there was any region to get the short end of the stick, I'm glad it was Britain.
Rude, yeah.
Caparaja deserves better.
Yeah, give me curry, please. All right, next up, Shinji Hashimoto is retiring from Square Enix after 28 years. He was big brand guy for Final Fantasy, executive producer on the entire KH series since the start.
Is there something in the water in Japan that's just making these guys go, okay, we'll stop?
I mean, he's probably over 60 by now.
I'm sure. So he's Masuda, but
old.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
one of those things where he's been there so long. He's been there for both good and bad. So it's like I have no idea what to expect from changes.
Yeah,
there will be.
He's been there since the beginning.
I know, right?
Yeah.
He also a couple years ago he was like, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to switch over to this thing where I specifically train people to succeed me.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who'd you train? Yoshi-P. No one else. Oh no. That's the opposite of what you said.
You know, Japanese companies actually seem really aggressive about going, this person is our linchpin right now. We need to change that because what if they get in a car wreck?
Well, American companies are really good because they just view all employees as fungible.
Yeah, that's great, right?
Oh my god. Next up, at the Star Wars Celebration thing that they do, they announced the next Star Wars Jedi game, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, is going to be next gen, or I guess current gen only, coming out next year, continuing the saga of Cal Lightsaber from Jedi Fallen Order.
That is exciting.
I wish that we saw more, but whatever.
I have very high hopes for this game.
Yeah.
As someone who I think rated it the lowest on the podcast, but loved a lot of stuff in it, I have really high hopes for this game.
Yeah, this was literally the first thing of modern Star Wars that was good.
Yes, I know, right? Opening fire, opening shot.
Because this came before The Mandalorian, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
Yeah, by a decent bit.
Yeah, it was that or like relatively close, where it's like, what do we have? The Jedi video games and some of the TV shows. That's what we're rolling with right now.
But yeah, no, this is great. I'm glad it's current gen only. That game definitely needs to not ship on last gen consoles.
Yeah, especially next year. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we do not need the game to be compromised by trying to pare down to PS4s or launch Xbox Ones.
Yeah.
The villain, or I assume villain, they showed in this, or was it just a? I don't even remember where this fucking dude is from.
Like the bald dude with like the tattoos or whatever,
with the lines all over his face.
Oh, I think
was he just some random background guy?
I think he's called the Grand Inquisitor. I think that's supposed to be the same character. He's like in Clone Wars, and he's also like shown in the trailers of the Obi-Wan show that's been starting up.
Okay, because I just remember like that's some dude from the prequels. I guess it could just be the same race, and they could all look identical.
They do that a lot in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like the leader of the Inquisitors that serve under Darth Vader, and it's like, all right, go fuck him up and use your helicopter lightsaber thing. Make it spin.
Everyone in chat is saying Rebels. He's from Rebels.
Okay, Rebels.
Yeah,
all right,
that makes
whatever.
sense.
Yeah,
because that had a lot of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have to do a gamer premonitions right now about Jedi Survivor.
Thank God it's about this one specific part of Star Wars, because I was worried Phil's scope was going to be about Star Wars, and I was going to be like, no,
it's only about this game.
Okay.
Will Asuka be in this game? Ahsoka. Will Ahsoka be in this
okay.
game?
I was like, why was Asuka Kazama being here?
Asuka Kazama. I mean, why wouldn't you want her in your video game, frankly?
I mean, after Soul Calibur, anything's possible.
Yes.
Kate.
Yeah, let's start to Kate.
Start.
Oh, okay, sure. I'm going to say yes.
Bob.
Yeah, they're doing a lot more connectivity stuff between these. Like BD showed up in Boba Fett, like a BD droid.
Yeah, they actually did do that.
KZ.
Sure. I mean, Saw Gerrera from Rogue One was in the last one, so I'm willing to believe they'll like grab what
he was.
Yeah, they'll grab whatever makes sense in that timeline. Yeah, he was there for 6 minutes, but he was in fact there.
I'm also gonna say yes because Dave Filoni would shadow himself into their studio and implant her in the game without their permission if he has to.
They're like, we got to do it. He's friends with George.
It's just the fucking. It's literally that Apple thing that was a parody of Mission Impossible where they sneak in.
Oh God! It has the mask.
Yeah, he takes the mask off. Oh yeah, this is really not news. Not in the way I view it. After the fact, if there's anything worth talking about, I'll talk about it. But worth noting, the Worldwide Developer Conference for Apple's probably I believe it's happening next week. And it's going to have their mixed reality headset. That's the leaks on the ground. So after years and years of fucking developing this VR mixed reality AR thing, that shit in its OS is finally launching at some point, and the tools and stuff are coming out for the developer conference, seemingly, allegedly, next week.
Okay. And maybe theirs will take off.
I mean,
like Microsoft never did.
You know, Apple, once again, has the best chance of anyone to just make a thing happen. People tried smartwatches before them, and it did not take off at all.
Yes.
Then they tried after them, and it still didn't take off. Apple's took off moderately. But yeah, so someone else in the market, I guess that could be cool. I think they're calling the OS Reality OS, which I'm not a fan of.
It should have called it Reality 2. What are they doing?
I know, right?
God, when are they going to make Reality 2?
I'm so tired of Reality. I want Reality 2.
Come on, man.
But yeah, anyways, let's get to the state of play. That happened before we recorded.
Yep, our top story of the week. There's a Sony state of play, which is rolling the dice on whether or not you come out going, yeah, or, oh, they showed Godfall for 15 minutes.
Oh, thank God that's over.
They showed Godfall for 15 minutes, and Dan's in the corner of the room rocking back and forth going, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to fucking do it.
Thank God that's over. And thank God Deathloop is over.
Yeah, thank God. We're actually through all of those Bethesda like Sony games now that are done.
We're done. Yeah, we're free of all of them.
I think your notes here are actually missing the game I was going to reference that I'm like, is this the new Artful Escape where we keep seeing it every so often?
Oh, yeah, The Journey or something?
Yeah, I already forgot the name.
Oh, man.
They showed that game that we got to see, I believe, last year, or maybe it was really early this year, where it's a letter to the future is the way they phrased the game. Like that was the marketing tagline, a letter to the future. And I'm like, bitch, in the future, electricity isn't going to work. This isn't going to communicate regret to the future. They don't have technology in the future. Seasons? Okay, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because it was about seasons.
I don't remember ever seeing this before, so that
it was definitely one of the summer gaming last year.
Yeah, they showed this off, but let's get into it.
Okay, I guess we can like bottom up for like escalating big games.
Sure.
Roller Drome, which is a roller derby murder game, is coming out August of this year. That was like the cell shaded looking one with the guns.
Yeah, it looks like Pro Skater, but you have a gun.
Yeah.
They didn't have an aimer on screen, which was weird.
Yeah, there's no aiming reticle.
Yeah, so hopefully that was just for the demo there.
It might just be lock on, like it's too fucking hard with how fast you're moving.
They had text at the bottom that was on some of the VR games where it said camera angle was altered for this game footage, and I'm like, because of that, I spent the first 20 seconds of this trailer going, so is it a VR game? Like, I'm trying to figure out what your hook is here because it didn't seem to have a hook for me.
Yeah,
I like the aesthetic. I on concept like roller derby murder game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but watching it, I'm like, it doesn't really. It's missing something.
Yeah, it didn't look that fun. I don't know. I'll have to see it closer to when it comes out. Hopefully they put a cursor and I know it's a third-person shooter.
Yeah.
Because then I can get behind it. If it's a lock-on sort of thing, I don't know if I can.
Fucking monkey's paw. They put in a cursor. It's Warhawk style. It's a giant fucking armored core square.
Jesus.
What is right? Why you gotta do this?
And the accuracy's random because it's armored core.
No!
God. Next up on our list, Eternites, a dating sim action game, comes out next year to PS4 and PS5. Dude has like an energy prosthetic arm after he loses his arm. There's anime everywhere.
This is being published by Kowloon Knights, who published Sifu and a bunch of other stuff. It's being made by a completely new studio of indie people. At least some of them are not, like, they're not Japanese. It's a Western studio. Although they literal artists I follow are like, they got me to work on this. And I'm like, cool. And then I looked at the gameplay and I'm like, this is going to be better. This is going to feel better to control than 90% of action RPGs ever made. And people get mad when I say that.
I literally sat there and said, this looks better than Scarlet Nexus ever did.
I was quietly thinking about it, but I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to put anything in the jar.
The environments don't look very good, but the character animation stuff I can kind of see.
I'm actually really excited for this game. I liked visually a lot what was going on, and I think the level the action combat's coming in at could be really interesting. I'm super excited.
I was sold on it.
It was funny to see them transition from like girl 3D model laying on desk looking at main character, transitioning straight to 2D version. It was very funny to see that.
Yeah, I like the 2D art though. It's really good when it pops up and you're just like, sure.
Yeah, you're like dating sim. Yes, gotcha.
Got it.
This is a reward.
This game will cost $40 at most and is being made by an entirely new team of developers. So you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Now, normally, with the big thing stuff, we're not really going to read chat, but there is an interesting point in chat because this is in the realm of Scarlet Nexus. Does that make it the third one where it's Astral Chain, Scarlet Nexus, and this weird triumvirate?
Yes, and we will make that our graph, and we will put all games in that graph.
Oh, man.
It does seem to be in the same tier where it's like you have a futuristic city, you have neon lights, you have like some vague disaster because they show like these big energy walls.
Mm-hmm.
You're not on some sort of team of psychics, I don't think.
Thank Christ.
Yeah, but you're on a team of other teenagers.
You are on a team of teenagers.
Yes, that is true. No one T-posed, so that means it's further away from Astral Chain.
That motorcycle thing looked better than every single moment in Astral Chain you had to ride the Beast Legion.
At least the Beast Legion was very cool.
I don't know. The motorcycle levels in Astral Chain were bad, but I kind of enjoyed moving around the Beast Legion. I don't remember that being bad.
Yeah.
They might have asked you to do some bad things for it, though.
Please enjoy our Switch 2 playthrough.
Switch 2 better play Switch games better.
Yes.
Because I need to see what Astral Chain looks like.
I do that all the time. I always swap their names and it pisses me off.
I need to see what that looks like running well.
That'd be neat.
I really do.
And then you can bring Aggro in and be like, look at this story, Aggro.
He comes in wearing a white button-up shirt with a pocket protector.
This is a good idea. You should put that in your pocket.
Yeah, no, that's...
Yeah. We finally got a trailer for Stray again. It's coming out next month, July 19th. You're a cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really seems to be the entire game.
I was disappointed to see that there seems to be just button prompts for doing all the jumps. It seems like you won't be able to just jump as a cat. And it's like, I kind of want to jump as a cat. I don't know.
No, sorry about.
It's just like, no, you can only jump at these points.
I don't want an Assassin's Creed cat sim.
I kind of do, because I just imagine Banny standing on two legs doing this through a crowd.
Yes.
Yeah. Why do we get to have Goose Game when cats are much bigger assholes?
I don't know, but luckily Stray's here to show that a cat can stumble through a dark place at night, knocking over several beer bottles.
Yeah, I'm still excited. I still think that I'll try this if I can.
Yeah, I'm excited. Based on this trailer, I still think like my expectations actually went up with this trailer. I was expecting a lesser game that was just like stray cats, pay attention.
Yeah.
Having seen this, I'm like, okay, that actually looks like a game I could play and have fun.
Yeah.
This one was I know Phil was a bit surprised by this one. Spider-Man Remastered is coming to PC in August, with Miles Morales coming later in the fall.
This was the game that everyone kept saying that won't happen, and I'm like,
I said it.
I don't like. They're working with Marvel. Marvel wants to make the mad money.
Mm-hmm.
If they can make a few million more dollars on PC, which they're going to make at least $100 million more dollars on PC, easily. I think Marvel would pressure them to do it. So I think this made sense. I wasn't that surprised when it well, I was surprised, right? I expected something else first. Something possibly starting with B, ending with E, and much older and thus more obvious to get ported first. But yeah, Nix's is already porting this stuff.
Yeah,
you're talking about
sense.
Back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, when are they getting Knack over the PC? It's a mystery.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just bring over Knack 2.
Honestly, yes.
And they just call it Knack 1 and take actual Knack 1 off digital stores and also change the name of Knack 2 to Knack 1 on PS5.
No, that'll be too confusing. Here's what you do. You relabel Knack 2 the Knack.
Knack 1 is Knack Origin.
Oh, you delist it.
Okay, yeah.
Just to be clear, no human deserves to play Knack. Knack 2, however.
Yeah.
Really good.
God. We also got another trailer for the Callisto Protocol. That was the Dead Space creator trying to make something in the PUBG universe. And this trailer showed it looking better than the Dead Space remake. Also, it's coming out
before it.
Yeah.
December 2nd.
This looks really good, honestly.
This looks raw as hell. So exciting.
I know. Visually, this kicked ass. It had a really good atmosphere to it. I was kind of just shocked at how I'm like, yeah, this is some PUBG money, I guess.
Yeah, when they can use that money to just make a real game.
Yeah.
Really, really excited for the inevitable Kroby Cat video about that Dead Space remake.
Yeah,
same.
That's honestly the only thing that can come of that.
That's how it contributes to culture at large. We get the Kroby Cat video. A lot of people are saying that it's no longer tied to PUBG. I thought it was no longer, it's still in the same universe, but they took the title off or something.
My understanding is I said it was in the PUBG universe and everyone kept saying no. So I guess they just removed that aspect because it seemed insane.
It is insane.
Yeah, no,
so
it made
that's
no
good.
sense.
It's
Yeah.
good that they didn't do that.
They're like, hey, it's just a new IP. That is just
Yeah,
another
apparently
Dead
they
Space.
announced that earlier this week.
Oh,
There we go.
no wonder no one. No, I'm not going to pay attention to the Callisto Protocol unless you put it right in front of my head.
Yeah, it's very strange. Very strange that it was ever there. That was always a bizarre thing.
Yes.
Yeah, just clearly the company making it, like the publisher, just didn't understand how the IP works.
Uh-huh.
There's like, but PUBG popular, so obviously if we put that on something, it'll sell better.
Yes.
And that's how corporations think sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that looked funny as hell when they had the scene with the spinning metal spike thing and somebody got knocked into it. I'm like, that's a Mortal Kombat level.
Yeah, look, we got to see a lot of graphic just player dying in this, which is always good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Some of the lighting was really good. Of like this dismembered dude in the background with like an orange light that lit up like the red insides like real nicely. It really reminded me of stuff like Resident Evil 2 remake of just really good art and like framing.
I was gonna say, this is the happiest I've been with the survival horror game since outside of Resident Evil.
Right.
Since Dead Space 1. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I love seeing shit in this genre again.
Yeah. What are you talking about? We played the medium last week.
Okay, so we got 3 more games left in our state of play roundup here. Next up, Street Fighter 6, which is coming 2023. I didn't even get all of the details that were in this trailer in here, so I have a little bit more on top of it.
Yeah, did they do a blog post or anything?
Yeah, there's like some posts detailing it. So we got an explorable story mode where you're Luke and you're like exploring the city and doing some fights and stuff. They have a real-time commentary option that'll be in there that uses various high-ranking people in the FGC that will just react and commentate on your match.
Where's the low tier god DLC pack?
God.
People have already noticed Ryu just does a parry in
Oh yeah,
that
was amazing. I was like, okay, so what does that mean? Only Ryu can do that, or everyone can do that? But they showcased it with Ryu.
Somebody else do it.
Thank God.
Thank God. Yeah, that needs to be a mechanic, not something Ryu can do.
Right.
Like that's why 5 was lame with that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They also revealed that they will have an option for simplified inputs for this game. Like they're like press triangle to Hadouken, or down and this button as an additional option. Even down to supers, where it's like down and triangle plus circle will do one of them.
That's the kind of simplification in fighting games I'm fine with. Like that sort of thing just makes sense. Whatever. Let people have the input be easy, but then, the general flow be a lot harder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they ended up bringing in a little bit of that. I see. It's for control type. So there's like a classic mode, and then there's the modern control type is the one that has simplified input that you choose.
So modern.
Yeah. And they also have a new system called the drive system, a new gauge used to perform different techniques for offense and defense.
Huh. When they announced all these systems, I'm surprised they didn't show it with the UI. I guess they just don't have that set up yet. Because I know that sort of stuff is in flux all the way in development for fighting games.
Yeah.
And they don't want people seeing like, oh, but the meter goes down this much. That means this. It's like, no, we don't need that discussion yet.
Yeah.
We don't need tier lists on a game no one has touched but Capcom staff.
Right.
Like I really don't need that. They detailed all the characters. Like we have a new character, Jamie here. I assume that's a new character. I've never seen him before.
That's totally new.
Yeah, he's new.
Yeah, apparently a peacekeeper from Chinatown who wants to walk in the footsteps of Yun and Yang.
Cool.
Now,
and
strangely, in that trailer, we saw Chun-Li fighting someone, but we don't see her in any of the gameplay.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is she playable or not?
I assume she's going to be playable in the future.
Right.
Yeah, something that I immediately...
Yeah, she's listed in the playable characters.
Okay.
Something I immediately noticed is Ryu is just wearing Oro's shit.
Yeah, it fucking rules.
Oh, I thought it was Goken stuff.
No.
Okay.
No, that's orange shit.
That.
It's so fucking cool.
Because we know this is after Street Fighter 3.
Finally.
And at the end of that, Oro's like, I'm gonna train you, Ryu.
Ryu does seem to have new moves. Like I saw a lot of things I didn't recognize in there.
So fucking cool.
And we know for a fact it's after 3 because Ryu's thing is even like, no, he conquered the Dark Hado and mastered the shit that Goken did and owned the shit out of Nikali in Street Fighter 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then murdered in Bison.
Yeah, with just one shot. The website like lists these characters and just giving them bios, and it's like, yeah, it feels good that it's like moving forward. They're like, Chun-Li doesn't work for a police investigation anymore. She just raises her surrogate child and teaches kung fu classes.
Cool. Awesome.
I just also really liked how this game looked. Like, I feel like they're actually nailing you're punching someone and colorful paint's coming out of them.
Yeah,
and that's like the icing on the cake. This is the best a Street Fighter has looked since 3. Like, the environment looks amazing. It's alive.
Yeah.
There are pedals on the ground that kick up every kick. Every single fucking kick, little pedals come up, and I'm like, every part of this is firing. Finally, I can be fucking proud and feel good as a person who likes Street Fighter for how it fucking looks.
Like, when this trailer started, we were contained, like, trying to figure out if it was Street Fighter because the environment looked way too big.
Yeah, because they did the hub shit at the beginning where it's just like, oh, I'm going to run around the city, and I'm like, oh, this is cool as shit. And
it floored me. I could not believe that.
It did it just long enough where I was like, what if this is a misdirect and this is a new Final Fight?
Yes, that would have been hilarious.
I also kind of thought that might be it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is just going to... The story mode, at least, is obviously just taking place in Metro City.
Which fucking rules.
With that giant statue of Hagar. That's just in one of the shots, which is just cool.
Why did they show that teaser at all? This would have blown everybody's mind even more.
Yeah,
if they had just not shown that teaser at all.
God,
if they just showed this at us, it would have been insane.
Yes.
Because it doesn't leave questions open. It shows you the game. It also shows you these weird modes no one would expect.
I like how even in their press release, they're like, all of the modes you expect alongside, and then they start detailing the story mode and some of the other stuff they have, like Battle Hub shown at the end of the trailer, where you can bring new and unique forms of engagement and communication with other players.
So this is going to be...
Yeah, I pulled this up to verify with chat. This is on PS4.
That's incredible.
That's insane.
Wow.
It'll be at 720p.
Yeah, it'll probably be at 720p with no active elements at all.
Everything will be half frame rate in the background or less.
You motherfuckers will end up with like fucking 3DS Street Fighter 4.
But the way that those lobbies sound, it reminds me of the NBA 2K games. If you walk up to a basketball court.
God. I want that. You're getting me into what they're gonna do here.
Spike Jonze, Street Fighter 6.
Did they announce rollback? Is that anywhere in this? I guess technically they had rollback in 5. It just didn't work.
Yeah, it was just broken.
They
no
also
references.
Had rollback in MVCI as well. So
no reference to rollback in this blog post, though.
I mean, they didn't make Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That was a 8ing or one of those other companies.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like the chances are decent enough, but I'd like the confirmation all the same. Yeah.
I mean, I think with Ono gone, the chances are higher.
Yes.
The chances for any good idea, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see us entering the complete clown timeline where KOF 15 has rollback and Street Fighter 6 does not.
That would be insane.
Now, this is really interesting. I'm reading the PlayStation blog post, and this is verbatim. With the RE engine, you'll notice the game doesn't look like fucking shit coming out of a camel's ass.
Yes, I did happen to notice that.
Yeah.
They were surprisingly AVGN-like over there on the PlayStation blog.
It's fucking weird.
God. I actually... before we started, I looked back at footage of Street Fighter V and I was like, "Oh my god, ew."
This has me so excited.
Really bad.
You
They
guys
even
gotta.
fixed the logo up a little bit too.
They did. They turned that 6 into no longer something stolen off of like some cheap website.
Yeah.
Right, and it looked actually aesthetically great.
Right.
Like I think it's a really solid logo now. As someone who really deeply got into Street Fighter with Alpha 3 and just loved the shit out of that and moved from there to 3, like Third Strike. It has been just pain.
Yes.
Yes. Guys, you got to understand, in that timeline, right, with those two games and me getting into them, EX3 was good compared to things that came way later.
Yeah.
Because I was like, it had an excuse. It was a PS2 launch title.
What other fighting game did this real-time commentator thing? I know I've seen that before.
That indie fighting game on Steam that has the really huge name that's hard to say, that had a Kickstarter or an Indiegogo.
Yatagarasu?
Yatagarasu, yeah.
Oh.
Yes, that had the real-time commentary from real esports people, which was funny as shit.
That is funny. I will turn it off, but that is very funny.
I think I might fall in love with it. I'm going to select the same guy every time because he says one funny thing.
Fair.
If they pick the commentators I recognize, I'll keep it on the whole time. I need Yipes yelling into my ear when I'm failing to perform any combo ever.
It's unfortunate. I feel like there's a very low chance of us getting some cameo as ridiculous as Seth Killian in Dive Kick.
If he doesn't voice this, like if he's not one of those commentators, it'll just be weird. Because he's shown up for various Evos.
Oh yeah.
Only for Street Fighter.
Yes.
Only that.
I'm aware, but I'm worried they won't do
prestige.
it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like him and like James Chen or something just come in to do top 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't think we'd get this till Evo, so this was a great surprise. They really just caught me off guard with this.
Oh yeah,
Also,
this was fantastic.
Yeah. And it looking good and looking ambitious, where I'm like, God, them showing a character running around a street confused me in a visceral way of like,
yeah, it's really weird. I assume that mode will be bad, but I will enjoy it.
I will enjoy it like Mortal Kombat Deception, where you get to run around a world in that.
You seeing this, Bob?
What?
Street Fighter 6 available 2023. I'm on their website, by the way. The list of consoles.
Oh, it does.
PS5, PS4, Steam, Xbox Series X and S.
No last gen Xbox.
Shit. No last gen Xbox.
But it is coming to Xbox. Good for them.
They're like, we have limits of what we can achieve with the tech involved.
I want to see PS4 Pro versus Xbox Series S. I want to know
what's the
it's a fucking fighting game. The CPU advantage, massive CPU advantage that the Series S has, doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It's a fighting game. Like that might affect active elements, maybe, like the pedals and things. But the GPU on the PS4 Pro, if I'm not mistaken, is a little bit more capable.
That's insane.
But only in raw stuff. Anyways, I haven't memorized the specs in a really long time. So
this logo is really cool because it's IV and then turns sideways and makes the 6.
Well, it's VI because it's 6,
VI,
and then it rotates. Yeah, no, this is a great logo.
Yeah.
They did an amazing job with this logo. I'm gonna be honest. This was my highlight of the State of Play. There's a chance this might be my highlight of the Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great.
I just so happy.
I wish we saw more characters, but hey, whatever. We got Chun-Li and Ryu, and then 2 or 1 new character.
Yes,
So that's something. And I don't hate the new guy. I think it's Cabrera is neat.
Yeah,
they're not desperately trying to copy NetherRealm anymore. They're like, okay, we're gonna do our own story thing because there's no way you can't compete with NetherRealm. Like you cannot do a cinematic story mode that they just don't clown all over.
Ryu hates spiders, likes martial arts.
This is why he wears shoes now.
So he can step on spiders.
That bio forgot a lot of the stuff he likes, like jumping into light fierce.
Yeah.
water without any ice. the latest season of The Simpsons. And dirt.
God damn it.
Of course, Luke likes wacky t-shirts.
Luke likes wacky t-shirts, PC games, and traveling. and he hates horror games.
Oh God, did he say he was part of a PMC? Yeah.
Wait, he's a contractor for a PMC?
That completely checks out, Jesus. Where's the note about loving Naruto?
I love this game so much.
If Luke has some really goofy costumes, I might come around on him. Or he's just like, yeah, this is my Onimusha t-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what? I need a collection of t-shirts like he's Travis Touchdown.
Last one.
Sure.
Jamie hates getting lectured, arrogance, likes Yoon, Young, dancing, and his grandmother.
Simple man, okay? Okay,
like
Dan,
this
I
guy.
need to see Chun-Li. I'm sorry, we can't do the rest and not do Chun-Li.
That's fine. Hates crime indecisiveness, likes days off and shopping with Lee Fen. She's a big fan of shopping.
Women do in fact be shopping, I hear.
Bob, we gotta talk.
Yeah, what's up?
I'm gonna pop up images for chat because I think it's important that we immortalize this.
Okay.
That's just me. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think it's an important talking point for Big Think Dimension to discuss.
This is fair. We do need to go over this. This is
There
probably the
needs
most
to be-
controversial part of this whole direct.
I'm glad you agree. One sec. Where did that? I have 4 monitors open for the setup. I tell it to open a window, and Windows, to troll me, does nothing.
It could be anywhere
I
or
have
nowhere.
to check 4 monitors to find out it's lying. Anyways, let's talk about these thighs. Is that accurate to Chun-Li? Do
No,
you think?
I'm sorry, that's not enough.
That's not.
I'm not even
It's
like
so
crazy,
much.
but it's not enough.
Stunned.
No,
I was stunned in the trailer. This is just not a great shot. In the actual gameplay, it's ridiculous.
I don't know. I was watching that
it's a
actual
connoisseur.
gameplay, and I feel like that's a nerf from older Street Fighter titles. So I can. We need somebody out there has to be a Chun-Li super fan who's already worked out the numbers. Who's like, well, based on this, we can determine.
I bought her on Fortnite, so I'm comparing it to Fortnite.
Chun-Li's most recent appearance, Fortnite. So let me pull up the second
true.
image. It is actually true.
Where's Chun-Li and Genshin? We need this.
I mean, that would be better. This is
We're doing
important.
the research.
They're pretty big.
In this shot, it does seem larger than that image. Look, I came from Third Strike. My expectations are broken.
Yeah, of course they are.
God, Ryu looks so fucking awesome in this game.
Yeah, I know. This is what I want anytime you make a new fighting game, is I want to see, like, the characters, like, shift
I
almost
wanted
dramatically.
I want that Akuma design that they talked about and didn't do, of Akuma with a baby strapped to him.
Yes,
That's so good.
that's amazing.
Because then he just has to follow a deal with trying to like avoid
the baby.
Yeah, protect the baby.
Yeah, this looks so amazing. I'm so happy. Like,
Yeah.
it's been rough. It's been rough.
It feels like they're doing it. Capcom's fixing everything.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah.
Finally, we can transition to that era of us saying Capcom's good and nobody has to say anything about any divisions.
Man, look
Yeah.
at the background even. It goes off into the distance.
It looks
great.
beautiful artistically and technically.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Capcom is yet again coming around to be my favorite game developer.
Right? Yeah, this is
I
after
honestly didn't think they had it in them. Like, after that preview was so underwhelming, I was like, this is probably going to be on the level of Street Fighter 5 again. They're like, no, we made a full ass game. And I'm like, wow. Why'd you try and trick me at first?
Yes. And we're also, it's not till next year, so we don't have to worry about, it's going to rush out so they can hit some event this year.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't even do that shit of like January or something. So it's far off enough that they don't want to commit to a season, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
All that's
Flush
left,
it out.
all Capcom, the only Infinity Stone Capcom still needs. Please reassure me that you're still making Mega Man things. Like, you made Mega Man 11, that was great. It sold more than every other Mega Man game, and then apparently you just stopped.
Yeah, that's what I need to.
That'll be next week, I'm sure.
I mean, it's supposed to be, right?
It
We're
is.
supposed to
It's-
learn about Rockman Tyson.
I would fall to my knees in defeat.
I love this fucking company.
I know it's great. We're gonna make this a sandwich. We're moving on to Square. Naoki Yoshida showed up, started apologizing for the long wait, and showed us a new trailer for Final Fantasy 16, which will be coming out summer of next year. And they showed off a trailer filled with combat, cutscene, people not wearing shirts, giant kaiju battles. They did the poker rap at the end, and it was insane.
It was pretty good.
I can't believe fucking 15 had that stupid fucking super knock to shit, which sucked. And then they're like, we're gonna put that game in the grave forever.
Yeah, I'm really curious how these kaiju battles work, because I watched them and it made me think of old Super Nintendo games that did not come to the States that were based on animes. Where it's just two
like Yu Yu
portraits
Hakusho.
shaking. Yeah, it's like Yu Yu Hakusho, where two portraits shaking, and then you hit buttons in time with a meter at the bottom to try and do special moves.
Honestly, I saw people saying, I hope these aren't real set pieces. But I'm like, if you have DMC's combat director. If the normal combat is great, I'm fine with these big set piece kaiju battles.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah. Like, I'm fine with your God of War moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to see a little
you
bit.
You have fucking Bahamut carpet bombing Titan.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the amount of them that they showed. And then they're like, and for the ones that they've revealed, like, here's the person that is like the controller of that summon. They're like,
they call it the dominant.
And then they cut to each one.
Yes, the dominance. Bob and I lost it over that. Because the intro line for that was so funny. I was like, I love shit like this.
Where's his Megaduce, though?
I'm sure Megaduce is going to be, what, Alexander?
Yes.
God.
If you would... oh, man. It'd be really cool if summons were more of a physical thing, like in 9 and stuff. It's like, no, that's just there, hanging out, and you climb in and you pilot it.
Oh wow!
Oh my god! Yeah.
This rules. I love when Final Fantasy puts an emphasis on the summons. Weirdly enough, though, this trailer, because of the emphasis on the summons battling and me not having an understanding of how that plays out mechanically, just reminded me of, I believe, Final Fantasy 13-2's trailer where she's on what is it?
Odin.
And
she's riding around, and we're doing a cool cutscene with the fighting.
I think that was Alexander. Or yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was the guy who looks kind of like the guy from Final Fantasy X. Who looks kind of like another character.
So, patrons, you have a lot to look forward to.
Yes, you definitely do. I was looking back at like the traditional combat and stuff, and we actually got to see like at least the UI they have right now, where the top left has different summons in the exact same spot. Devil May Cry 5 has Dante's style switching. So they have like a Garuda one that's active, and then they have like the other ones you'll swap to do different combos with your main character.
Oh, so presumably it'd be like a different weapon or something that you're switching to that represents that summon.
Maybe, but it also, since all these people who control them are like the characters, it might even be some weird like you get their power from hanging out with them. Because they put up bios for some of these characters, and they're framed like they're supposed to be party members. And the stuff with Clive fighting has his name up by his life bar, which is and is formatted. A lot of stuff in this is formatted very similarly to Final Fantasy 14, which shouldn't be surprising considering it's people from that.
Right.
But it's formatted like you could see a couple more people being under it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you actually physically switch to them, that'd be cool. That was one thing I wanted to see more in this trailer. Maybe the blog post makes it more clear of like, what's your party? Please tell me there's one.
Yeah, so since that's summer next year, do you think we see any more of this over the summer of gaming?
I don't know. It seems like this is what the trailer they were saving for, but maybe they do something else.
Yeah, they at the very least said that they were going to open up like interviews and stuff. Like they were going to start actually being freely able to talk about it.
That's the thing that makes me optimistic about maybe they're coming back for some more Summer of Gaming at some point.
Yeah,
like maybe there's an IGN thing.
Yeah, more direct like gameplay, just like a tiny segment of playable would be cool. Because right now it's just like a bunch of cuts.
From what they've shown us a lot of fights in whatever set piece is like the castle with the soldiers and there's the big lance guy. And you're using a bunch of powers. I'm wondering if that's not going to be the intro of the game. And either you get your ass beat real hard or it cuts back and flashes back. It's like, oh, you lost all your powers.
Oh, well, let me
Like,
explain.
you-
I thought this was obvious from the trailer, but he's going to fuck, and that will cause him to lose all his powers.
Somebody was
that
like,
does make sense.
finally, the second Final Fantasy protagonist to have sex.
It's so
very
sad
happy
that I'm
for
sitting
them.
here. I'm like, is the first Cecil? Wait, who's the first?
It's Cloud because he bangs Tifa on the mountain right before
That's
you go
true.
to the
We
final
did that.
dungeon.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like it was implied Cecil fucked, but
It was really funny to look at the HUD, and you have like a second meter below your health, and it's just the Final Fantasy 14 limit break bars, like the exact same ones. And I'm like, that's cute. Kind of like how there's a lot of FF12 stuff in 14. Yeah, this looked nuts. I'm really excited for it. Good to see Soken's also going to be composing on this game, and also hard confirmation that the person writing the story is known for doing a lot of shit for Final Fantasy Tactics, as well as some of the early 14 story stuff like Heaven's Ward.
yeah.
All right.
Also the game's content complete, where they're like, you can just play through the whole thing. We're just spending this time polishing it up and making sure that it like visually and runs solid.
That's good. They definitely don't want another 15.
No, and I think they realize that, and I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, because they have a DMC5 person as the combat director, it'll probably hit 60.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I feel like the
Hopefully.
trailer was 30, right? Like, thinking back on it, I think that was a 30 FPS trailer, but who knows? I haven't even looked it up. I can do that now while we move on.
Yeah. At the very least, the trailer's like 4K. Like whenever I was looking them up.
That's okay. Final Fantasy 15 is also 4K and 10 frames a second.
Yeah, 10 frames when you look down at the ground. But yeah, that's exciting. Glad we could rip off that Band-Aid. We got one more game, the game they opened with. It's a game called March 24th, 2023. It will be wait, no. It's Resident Evil 4 Remake, which they opened by just telling you the release date, then showing you a little bit of the game, the characters and stuff. And at the very end, at the very bottom, they're like, Leon S. Kennedy's bomber jacket is owned by this company who allowed us to use it.
Yeah, I'm glad you noticed that too, because I noticed that and made a joke on our stream of, did you see the copyright at the bottom for the jacket?
That makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't you just go buy a really nice jacket and scan that in? That's so much easier than designing your own.
Yeah, I know. It was between that and then them confirming most of the people making this are just the staff on Resident Evil 2 Remake. Which I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Because 2's up there with some of my favorite games ever. So I'm just like, oh, for controlling modern, God.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I'm super hyped, but they didn't show the one thing they needed to show.
No, you gotta wait for that money shot.
They better, the next time we see this, just start it with Leon shooting a guy in the knee, then walking up to him and suplexing his head off.
Yeah, I just honestly, the only way they can really fuck this up is not have the shoot a guy, do a thing. That is so crucial. That is the missing key to making all of these feel so much better, is adding the element of, no, you headshot them and then you get to disable them for a little while. And also let me stab them a bunch while they're on the ground.
Yes, the core of that combat system is conserving your bullets by doing very specific shots to open them up for cool stuff and like playing really aggressively. So
I'm even fine if they play the game more seriously. Resident Evil 4 is the most widely released game in history, probably more than Tetris or Pac-Man.
Probably, yeah.
There hasn't been a platform since it came out it has not been released on.
Yeah. All they need to do is deliver something viscerally good with that combat that, if we do a spoiler cast, I will say that I played it 10 times in preparation. Like, I needed to just kick ass because I know it's gonna have all that challenge stuff where like you get a bunch of points from your playthrough, so you can unlock a bunch of extra stuff because they've realized that's crack for my brain.
Real quick, the Final Fantasy 16 trailer is definitely 30 frames per second. I hope they have a performance mode because based on going frame by frame, this is running in a mode designed for 30.
Right.
It's not like missing frames or anything. Like the motion blur and everything else is clearly made around 30. Hopefully there's a performance mode.
That'd be nice.
Frame by framing this footage looks fucking awesome, by the way. I highly recommend that.
I was trying to like build GIFs and I'm like, this is great because Clive, the main character, does like the revolver move that Dante does, where he's just doing the spin.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, hopefully there's a performance mode there.
Yeah, RE4, however, talking about that I'm really excited for it. I want to see gameplay. I'm really glad they nailed it down to like month, day.
Yeah, no, that's nice. Just having it locked.
Didn't even have to ask. As soon as I'm like, oh fuck, yes.
And that's it. That's all the Resident Evil stuff that they need to announce for a while. Maybe we can get something else.
Like a Mega Man?
Like a Mega Man.
Like a Mega Man?
Like a Rebirth?
What about 7 more Monster Hunter games?
No!
I mean, I'll take a Monster Hunter game on PS5. I swore that I would finally tap in at launch when they're like, we're doing a real one on PS5.
That's gonna be great.
Right.
Oh yeah, that's gonna blow out my ass. They have Sunbreak that's coming out at the end of this month, so we got probably at least a year until they unveil like the follow-up to World that's gonna melt my eyeballs.
But Bob, technically,
what's up?
Chad is correct again. Resident Evil 8's DLC has not been talked about. I'm just thinking it's canceled.
I would love that. But if the Resident Evil 8 DLC was the VR, great, amazing, thank you.
I mean, yes, we didn't even talk about the VR announcement. It wasn't even in our docket.
Yeah, they even confirmed Resident Evil 4 Remake will have PSVR 2 exclusive content.
Cool. Awesome. But yeah, the Resident Evil 8 VR stuff, they finally have the missing piece of the puzzle. Like, to me, I think 7 being what it was largely hinged on it is a VR game. You are supposed to be deeply terrified of these things. So 8 having the VR added in is like incredible. Super great.
The funny thing is it portrayed it as like the opposite of you being deeply terrified because it had the person doing gun kata and like shooting one guy while stabbing another.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay,
course.
that you sold me on that.
Yeah, right? I mean, that's basically the Resident Evil 4 Wii effect, where it's like, now I'm just going to get a headshot every time.
Yeah, it was the thing with 8, like, they dropped it being more about versatile horror, like 7 was.
Yeah.
And yet they didn't make you that enabled, so it was just weird. Whereas this feels like you're going to be enabled.
Okay, you guys got me. I just want to see the big titty lady in fucking VR. You all have
yeah, you just want to do that thing with your hands where you're like pretending your ass or bongos.
I mean, we obviously owe people a stream that it devolves to that based on that clip being one of our most popular ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good. I want to go up to the merchant and like rub his tummy.
I was losing it though. I'm like, Bob, look at this. They're showing this in VR. You know how many pre-orders would go live for PSVR 2 right now if it was possible? How weird is it that they did VR games and they didn't go, this is what PSVR is. It's going to cost price.
It's coming out
Date.
Yeah, no, none of that. Instead, we're just like, we got a couple VR games.
Yeah,
we also got the Horizon. They showed off actual gameplay of it.
Yeah, they did. They're like, swim with your hands. And I'm like, okay, that's neat.
Wrapping the rope, I was like, I'm down for that, sure.
I'm sure that game to play it will probably be pretty cool now that we've seen shit in it.
Also, you don't play as Aloy. So it's just better off the bat than any other Horizon game.
I also said that. I'm like, this is going to have the most interesting story because it won't have any stupid shit about the past at all.
I'm not convinced of that.
But transitioning from a poorly written protagonist, or at least an unlikable protagonist, to a silent one is kind of an upgrade.
Right.
I thought you were going to say written. Just at all.
But yeah, no, that honestly, PSVR 2, I'm very excited for it. That's why I wanted to stream the event, because it's just like, I'm a huge proponent of PSVR 1. The number one thing that holds it back is those fucking controllers.
Right.
They could honestly, and this is terrible, but they could have just done PSVR 2 that's like, we have new controllers, the headset's the same, and I would have been like, oh, cool, great.
Yeah,
but
right.
obviously they went so much further above and beyond. And since in order to make this PSVR 2 stuff, I feel like you are inherently targeting a PS5 game.
Right.
Those games are all going to look pretty amazing, I bet.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
I'm surprised Half-Life Alyx was not here.
I know, that would have been great. That's my main hope for VR2.
Sony will make that deal, and Valve definitely is interested. There's no world in which Valve goes, no, we don't want to port it to anything. Like, you already made it.
Like, come on.
We had it. Well, the problem is that what we know about Valve's fucking corporate structure, it seems to be designed to ensure nothing gets done ever.
Yes, but here's the thing. When someone comes in with a really strong will and a shitload of cash, I think they can make it happen, right? I think that can make something happen at Valve.
Oh, right. The other VR game we got was that Walking Dead game. So weird.
Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 or something.
Yeah, I was like, this looks really bad, but it's in New Orleans, so it can't be Dead Island 2.
I know,
right?
We kept going back and forth. It's like, it looks kind of like Dying Light as a VR game, and then Bob goes, but it's in New Orleans, and I'm like, Nolans. It's in Nolans. Yeah, it's so bizarre because it's like, I'm looking at it, and as we both just agree, probably not Dying Light. I'm just staring at it, I'm like, it looks like The Walking Dead, but so did a whole decade of zombie shit, so I don't know what it is. And then they pop up The Walking Dead, and I'm like, oh, way to punish me for not assuming.
Right.
Yeah, I would call that incredibly like generic. So I'm like, I can't say if it's The Walking Dead because all that shit looks the same.
Yeah.
I watched 4 seasons of that show.
All of Chapter 3 will be in a single barn.
I made the joke. It was like, all season 2 is just in that fucking farm. It's the worst.
That's it.
Yeah,
we covered every game.
The only other thing is they announced Tunic is coming to the PlayStation.
Somehow that didn't register at all.
I know, right?
I was there. It was really happening. I looked right at it. Bob made a joke of, do you think this is going to come out day one on their PlayStation Plus pass? Because it was announced Stray would.
Yes.
Yeah, if you're like at least extra.
If you're PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Plus.
If you're a little extra.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you're a little extra plus Applebee's.
Uh-huh. Then you can get it. But yeah, I don't know. I think that was a great state of play. Street Fighter 6 looks amazing. Final Fantasy 16 looks really good. And Resident Evil 4, they showed it. They now have to give it to me.
yes, they are obligated.
I would have liked even a scrap of gameplay, but they're hiding that.
I'm telling you, they're gonna show that shit over the summer gaming. There's 100%. It's gonna show somewhere. It's gotta.
They have to, honestly. They should amp up the action elements even more. They should be like, okay, this, you thought you knew what Resident Evil 4 was and how crazy it was, and they need to take it to the next level.
Yeah.
Like, we need running tackles or something insane.
They have a new mode where you can play as Barry, and it's all melee.
God.
I mean, I bet it'll have the RE3 dodge shit. Like,
that'd be great.
Oh, please, God.
Yeah,
the RE3 remake dodge shit is so good. They need to tell me exactly when those games are landing.
Oh yeah, I forgot we even were getting those PS5 ports.
Yeah, the ports. I think
they got raided in places, so we're getting close.
I was going to shadow drop them during this summer of gaming.
God, please.
It'd be really fun. That just shows up at Jeff's show,
right?
But we have one more piece of news.
Oh shit! What?
Oh.
This is confirmed by Deadline that Samoa Joe, the wrestler, is going to be playing the body of Sweet Tooth, and Will Arnett will be the voice in Peacock's Twisted Metal.
I did not know about the body part. I knew about the voice. Will Arnett is great casting for Sweet Tooth. That is incredible.
That's hilarious. I've seen action figures of Samoa Joe. That should work.
Oh yeah, no. Sweet Tooth is a huge dude in everything that's Twisted Metal, like Black and later.
Right.
Absolutely massive guy. Great fucking casting. The only other person I would have stuck as Will Arnett is probably Calypso. But I feel like instead of him, you can get the guy from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the crazy dude. Charlie.
That is a different Calypso, but
that is a very different Calypso. I think it'd be really great, though. I'm really glad we got something positive about this Peacock Twisted Metal show. I was going to watch it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
I love Twisted Metal. Glad I found out in the last week, Mystic Ryan, Let's Talk PlayStation, also a big fan of Twisted Metal. Didn't expect that. He's really into Jack. I don't know too many Jack fans who are also, Twisted heads.
Look, it takes a special kind of person to be a PlayStation
and yeah, he's
channel runner.
He's like the only level-headed. He's the most level-headed PlayStation focused thing I've ever watched.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason I watch him. All the others really grate on my nerves. I can't deal with them because they're like, "Oh, PlayStation's so good," and I'm like, "Please, you can say a lot of things like they make good products. Don't sit there and pretend they're benevolent." I went through the PS3 era. I don't need you doing that. I'm now having to deal with them launching PAL games in these territories that didn't necessarily deserve them. Which is to imply some territories deserve them.
Yeah, right.
I mean, Britain did.
Kind of, a little bit.
Just like their region being depicted in Pokemon.
But I guess that's it for news.
Yeah, that might be my favorite state of play. Thinking about it.
Nothing
that
else
was a
is
pretty strong one.
Nothing else is really coming to mind.
I'm trying to think of
ones to me. FF7 came back, the remake for one of them, and that one where they revealed Resident Evil 3 remake for the first time.
Yeah, I remember that being strong. I'm trying to remember if anything cool was paired with Star Ocean, because I was hyped for that new Star Ocean getting announced, but I don't know if that was actually good.
That was a miracle. It felt like.
Yeah, that did not seem like it would happen.
Yeah.
I sure hope that that announcement at the end of June is we're delaying it into 2023.
We'll see.
It's really funny. I don't know about everyone else on the podcast network, but I never really anytime someone goes, "We're delaying this game," I'm like, "Great." I haven't had a negative reaction to someone delaying a game that was a real game in real development that showed any level of progress to that point.
Yeah.
Basically ever. This is me saying Perfect Dark doesn't count.
Yeah, and basically the entire output of Microsoft doesn't count.
Yeah, because
we don't get games being terminally delayed nowadays. It's just they never set a date and it just never progresses.
Right. Which is why that's a different thing from, hey, we were hoping to do it this year, but we're pushing it back. And I'm like, yeah. For example, if they said Pokemon Scarlet and Violet's delayed, I'd be like, great.
Yeah.
But I feel like a lot of people would be really, really upset. They gave us that date.
They gave us 2 Pokemon games in the last 6 months.
I know, but there are people who are insane.
I know.
They're I only got 2 Pokemon games in the last 6 months, 3 in the last year because Snap.
Don't Mystery Dungeon as well.
Mystery Dungeon 2. You do yeah,
that was 2020. That was the end of 20.
Was
the beginning of 2020 was Mystery Dungeon.
No, I thought that was the beginning of 2021 was Mystery Dungeon, Pokemon Snap, and was Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. And then the beginning of 2022.
Because I bought Mystery Dungeon as I was losing my job.
Okay. As I was losing my job, God.
God damn it.
It's like how Zelda fans are constantly why didn't they show new Breath of the Wild? They only launched 4 spin-offs in the last year.
Chat activated me by just saying Pokemon Unite, and I'm like, you're right, I should. The cheap ass gamers tweeted that deal about Pokemon Go that made me look into which one of my Google accounts links into my Pokemon Go, and so this means
I totally
yet again
considered getting into Pokemon Go.
This means yet again my main account for my private email, my personal email. I log into that and I just see a pile of letters because some Chinese account clearly hacked it and made an account for me in Pokemon Go. And I'm like, right, okay, not that one. And then I did a who's on first with Google accounts as I type in an email and hit enter and they go, but isn't it this email? And I'm like, I think that'll confuse Pokemon Go. You need to use this one. Google Plus still haunts us to this day.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you know someone with a YouTube account that existed through Google Plus, there's like a brand that's just been burned into the back end for the rest of eternity. But yeah, that's it. We did it. Big thing to mention, 173. Man,
New frontier.
Big thing to mention, 172 had such a short shelf life.
Right.
We should have called it Bleeding Edge.
Hey, be nice to that game. It's the only exclusive anything Microsoft has acquired to ship for them.
Dan, what are you doing? What are you doing coming up?
He said this before. He said this privately in the podcast Discord in the last week, and both times I just sat there and struggled and sweated and tried to prove him wrong, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
You can't. Psychonauts 2 came out on everything.
Come on.
Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo are on PS5. Wasteland is on everything, I think. None of them have shipped anything. Yeah, they didn't buy the developer of the Medium.
Yeah, I know. I'm just we're grabbing everything, right?
Anyways, since we streamed this on Thursday, Bob and I are playing Silent Hill 2 tomorrow. I've been assured by multiple sources that it is OPL compatible.
What is that?
We will find out if it can play from backup solutions.
Okay, I was like, I remember what that is now.
Because the PS2 version costs like $150. And as I sit here and look at that and think about it, I'm like, that is the only greatest hits game that I've ever seen that was that expensive nowadays.
Yeah.
Very bizarre.
Your only route was like to play the original or play the PC one with the mod of people fixing it.
That's not true. We also have Xbox as an option. And we could do that, and I thought about it, but I thought it would be more interesting to debunk people saying, yeah, OPL works great.
That is true. It is really good when you get to be like, everything's on fire, and you did it.
It adds an extra layer of edge to the stream.
Oh, yeah.
Was that spooky, or did it break?
They're jittering a lot. I assume this is intended. Looks at chat. It is not. Okay.
His eye is clipping through his head. Is that symbolic, or did something not work right?
But yeah, we're doing that. Of course, we're going to be doing live events for the Summer of Gaming.
Yes, be excited. Summer of Gaming starts next week. Jesus.
I'm very excited. Also, I'm getting a car allegedly next week.
Ooh.
So that will have a
much
video
hype.
because the people paid for it. They absolutely deserve to see it. I wanted
you should do donuts.
ruin the tires on a brand new car and probably crash because I've never fucking done donuts.
Right.
Take a video of how gas is $7 a gallon, but you have a hybrid, so it doesn't matter.
I use After Effects to make the price $20 per gallon. I'm like, look at it. Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be really weird.
Good thing I only have to gas up every 700 miles.
Right? Like I've seen this range feature that people with good or decent cars have where it's just like, you could drive this far on this tank. And I'm going to look at mine and it's going to say a number. And I go, you're lying.
Right.
Fuck you. That's not real.
It's going to say like what? 15-gallon tank. It's going to say what? 1,100 miles?
Yeah, it's going to say something absurd because it's a fucking hybrid that gets like 53 miles to the gallon. So it's going to be like, you have 600 miles left. And I'll go, no.
Yeah, I just think about how mine, when I refill, is like, yeah, you can go 350.
Yeah.
You can go 350 miles. That's it. You're good.
Yeah.
It costs $350. It's $1 a mile.
I don't ever plug other people's shit in the ending segment, but Climate Town did a really good video on fucking gas prices. Absolutely go watch that. Climate Town's a good channel.
Yeah, you showed me some videos. They're actually quite funny. The editing on those are really good.
Yeah, really snappy editing, good writing, and a lot of good information.
Ooh.
It's a hard balance, but they do it.
Yeah.
It's great because it's like, does one person control the price of gas? We're gonna find out if that one person has the button to ruin everyone's life. But yeah, that's it. Aside, like, I'm super excited. The most fucked up thing in the world has happened to me, ladies and gentlemen. I've never experienced this in my entire life. Bob, I'm sure you've noticed.
Yeah.
I haven't tweeted it. I haven't said it on Discord to these two. I've worked so hard over the last 9 days. I'm a daytime person now.
I figured.
It's been nonstop, waking up at like 7 a.m. and shit. Nonstop for 9 days, 10 days, 11 days straight, where I'm just like, yeah, I get tired by like 9 p.m.
Now, Dan, it has not fully locked in yet until you're like, finally, I don't have to do anything tomorrow. And then you still wake up at 7 a.m.
That kind of happened yesterday, but we'll see.
Yeah, it has to. I feel like it has to get a week out, and then we'll know.
Yeah.
So I bet it'll all fall apart when the summer of gaming starts, which is bad because that would have helped for that.
Right. I think I might keep it this way.
Hopefully,
we might do the weirdest thing of like, hey, it's bright, it's still in the morning. Welcome to our Silent Hill 2 stream.
We're starting bright and early at 10 a.m.
I keep talking about how funny it would be to do a gaming radio show on Twitch.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Dan Dog Gaming in the Morning. 8 bits of coffee pouring sound effect.
Dog barking sound effect. Then you just play NES midis for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's just a fucking dungeon theme from Zelda 1. It's like there's no good intro, no good outro. It just fades out eventually, and then I talk.
I have to wonder how well that would do if people would grip onto that on Twitch.
And Bob, and then I hit the punch-in button, and it zooms in on your hat. The wolf.
The Dread Wolf.
The Dread Wolf. Bob's like, I'm dreading. You know what? Microsoft, I just, last thing, and then I'll hand off, I swear to God.
Okay.
Microsoft emailed me and was like, your Game Pass is running out. You have to pay full price. You know that, right? And I'm like, I don't have to, Microsoft. I hope you know that.
This isn't a trick that works on anyone. In this future where everyone has figured out, wait, I need to unsubscribe to Netflix between the months they have stuff.
Right.
They absolutely, that doesn't work as well anymore as it does.
Especially
it used to.
They have no lineup for the rest of the year. What would I be subscribed for? Master Chief Collection? Just go buy it.
Dan, they added the Ninja Gaiden collection that came out last year.
That's true. They did add that. I was surprised. I was like, oh shit. Huh. But yeah, that's it for us in the next week. I gotta prepare those audio bits for the Big Think Live for the Summer of Gaming, so I can be like Dan the Dog video games and Bob Bark video games.
And I assume we're gonna do Pokemon Days.
I hope to God. These stupid chuckle fucks are gonna announce a fucking Summer of Gaming thing on a fucking Monday. I'm gonna be fucking pissed.
Right? No, we need this.
Oh, we couldn't do Pokemon Mondays, guys, because let me check this out. Guerrilla Collective Day 2 happened.
They skipped day 1.
But anyways, that's it. KZ, what are you up to?
Well, I'm gonna be doing a death stream of Crash 4. People watching this live, that's happening tomorrow. I'm gonna explore Crash 4, see how much I like it. Very excited because that game looked cool in the trailers I saw, and I didn't really tap in.
Oh, you didn't play that game?
I did not.
Oh. I played and loved that game, but then every level ends with, your OCD spiders will eat you. So I literally stopped after 2 worlds of enjoying the game.
Yeah, that's not going to fully affect me as hard as other people. Especially because every single 5 minutes of the Crash 1 through 3 streams is someone saying, Crash 4 is 100% sucks.
I mean, yes, and you're death streaming it. So the idea of replaying a level never enters your brain.
Yeah. Right, no.
Yeah, I know, but everyone seems to want to ask that question every single time I play a game where you collect an item.
I really wanted to like Crash 4, but it's just structured in the way that hits the worst parts of my OCD. Where it's like, no, I need to get everything. You made it so hard to get everything. And there's so many levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not usually as bad about that as you and Dan, but even I was like, no, I can't.
It's and that's why Spyro is better than Crash.
Yeah.
Just learning that what they'll do is they'll just put a box hidden on the side where it's impossible to see it. Breaks the spell for me.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
I'm like, you're doing this to be evil, so you can't control me anymore.
It got better once you get to the point where you get the reversed versions of the levels, and it's like, okay, you don't have to perfect the level to get a costume. You only have to get half the stuff, then half the stuff in the other version of it, and then you get the costume.
All right.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm gonna be doing that. Maybe before the next big thing, because I have a movie theater near me. I might see that new Top Gun movie, which would force me to watch the original Top Gun, which I've never seen.
The original Top Gun is like wallpaper.
Yeah, don't get your hopes up.
No. I remember the time you talked about how it was terrible. So I need to see it for myself to pregame for.
Do you have any furniture to move?
Do you have another desk to assemble?
You know what? I'm considering it, and
do you need to organize your sock drawer?
I haven't put away everything I own.
Yeah, maybe now's the time to, I don't know, organize some index cards, do something else. Who knows?
Also, because we always lose out on some details. Through Maximilian's stream, he zoomed in on the end of that Street Fighter 6 trailer, and there's literally a straight shot of Cammy and Guile fighting on like one of the feeds. So they just get soft confirmed.
Cool. Awesome. Feel. What you got going on?
I'm gonna try to do something, but I have a normal job, and it wavers back and forth in how much energy it takes. Going to bed at like 10 and getting up at like 6 is weird.
Ugh.
Yeah, it is. It's disgusting.
I saw this tweet that really summed it up the other day, where it's like 6 a.m. is a great time to get up, but 10 p.m. is a stupid fucking time to go to bed.
Yes. No, that's correct.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for Big Think Live.
Yep.
See, what you guys don't realize is the rest of the podcast, it takes about 2 hours, an hour and a half, maybe a little bit extra. But we actually spend another 2 hours coming up with our hilarious scripted endings.
We always have some bangers.
Yeah.
We always do.
So instead of actually doing that, we're just going to end this. Goodbye, everybody. Bye. This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.